Future Khan revealed the existence of a majestic six-legged and two-winged black stallion with burning red eyes. This was neither a monster nor a humanoid species of Vantria, as the aura it emanated simply felt otherworldly and divine. Sleipnir has served me well, and he is one of my most trusted allies in the original timeline. I brought him with me from the future because he was too good to be left behind. Revealed Future Khan as he kept patting the imposing stallion. Sleipnir? Isn't that Odin's horse? Asked Current Khan, puzzled by this revelation. Yes, he is Odin's horse in Norse mythology on Earth. He has 8 legs, but this one has only 6 as well as wings. In Vantria, he is actually the descendant of one of the 3 divine guardians that protect the gateway to a special plane of existence called Realm of the Transcendence. Revealed Future Khan. Those guardians are similar to Heimdall, who protects the Bifrost, the gateway between Midgard and the realm of Aesir gods. They will only let someone after passing the ascension and becoming a demigod. The Future Khan gave a reference that the current Khan would understand. As a matter of fact, you already saw the first guardian after coming to Hesperides. Spoke the martial emperor. Do you mean? Asked Khan with eyes wide open. Correct. The celestial deity is actually the first guardian of the realm of the transcendence. He is currently overseeing Hesperides after the gods made a pact to kill the demon god and also started the conclave of heroes. Revealed the martial emperor. As for the guardian I'm talking about, it has left 2 descendant species in this world. He spoke relaxedly. One is called Pegasus, and the other is Sleipnir. He declared, and if I'm not wrong, the hero of light must have already found and made a pact with the Pegasus, as events of the original timeline are the same for him. But because I changed your divine abilities and overall route of destiny, it would be impossible for you to find and make the pact with Sleipnir in this timeline. Revealed Future Khan in a solemn tone. Whoa, isn't that risky since it could affect the timeline greatly again? Asked Current Khan. After hearing how he changed a lot of things from the original timeline, like killing Hero of Fire, the Princess of Zivid Empire, and changing the fates of people like Cassandra, Vanessa, Emperor Havi, and finally Maximus himself, the current Khan was fairly aware that his minor things could affect how the future would work from this point. Yes, but he is also part of the original timeline as far as my life as Hero of Darkness is concerned. So the impact of deviating timeline will be adjusted to a certain degree. The only difference is that you are meeting Sleipnir a decade earlier than how it was supposed to be. But if I let him be, he would never be released from the seal in this timeline and would have died at the hands of Hero of Sentience. Said Future Khan as he made a shocking revelation. Since Pegasus was already bound to the Hero of Light at that time, he came for Sleipnir. Yet he was not acknowledged, so that psychotic bastard, using the seal that was imprisoning Sleipnir along with his own divine abilities, tried to kill him. That bastard has the habit of destroying and eradicating things he can't use or possess for himself. Luckily, I was also there and stopped him, said Khan, and spoke in a stern tone. Later, Sleipnir became one of my most powerful metaphorical weapons. So I just couldn't let him die in this timeline, since you won't be able to go there now because of the changed fate. Besides, it won't affect the future anyway because of his powers. Iterated the martial emperor proudly. Sleipnir here can exist in multiple timelines and traverse both past and future, said Future Khan. Bewildered. Current Khan was simply too bewildered after what he just heard. But he needs to be free and at his full strength on both ends of time to make any difference. So it doesn't work like how Hero of Time and I returned to the past. Iterated Future Khan. Next, he leaned his head and gently touched it against Sleipnir's. Sebka o Alasawum Staru Bakul, chanted Future Khan, and soon, an archaic formation in the shape of a sphere appeared and was placed on Current Khan's chest. Chant these exact words and transfer his ownership to Blackwell when you meet him, said Martial Emperor in a commanding voice. Among you and your allies, only Blackwell is suited to ride Sleipnir in this timeline, declared Future Khan. Why? Shouldn't you be giving him to me instead? Asked Current Khan curiously. Because you're not worthy to be his master in this timeline. Plus you have many bloodlines that he detests, especially the Fenrir and Basilisk ones. Revealed the Martial Emperor. Why? Does he have a complex against his supposed half-brothers, Fenrir and Jormungandr from the Norse mythology on Earth? Asked Current Khan as he chuckled playfully. Something like that. He also detests creatures like undead and demons from hell. Among all of your subordinates, he might like Armin a bit because he is a variant Yggdrasil. However, Blackwell has the primordial Titan bloodline and is actually worthy, stated future Khan with a satisfied countenance. And what makes him worthy? Asked Khan skeptically. Now, even he wanted to know the reason why the future Khan would rather give Sleipnir to Blackwell than himself in the current timeline. Future Khan chuckled and looked at Sleipnir and ordered, "Sleipnir, Opinbara," he commanded. "Nay." Sleipnir neighed and strode off to their left. In just 2 seconds, he was already past 10 kilometers away in Khan's inner world. Boom! A vastly terrifying and equally dense aura of darkness arose as Sleipnir acted on future Khan's command to transform and reveal his true self. Thud! This time, Khan was gobsmacked after looking at the transformation and was simply astounded to the point his jaw hit the floor. Because now, Sleipnir turned into a whopping 5-kilometer tall horse, breathing out and emanating the aura of pure darkness and creating an intangible force that even current Khan could tell contained space and time law together. "Ah, I forgot to tell you his title in Vantria," spoke future Khan and revealed in a kingly voice, "Sleipnir, the divine warhorse of death." Khan was left sundered in awe and disbelief as he saw Sleipnir's true form that spanned 5 kilometers in height. Just each of his wings spanned for more than a kilometer in the periphery alone. Like the future Khan said, the enormous size and the unique power Sleipnir had made him no different than a metaphorical divine beast. Hell, even Blackwell in his new mythical rank form wasn't as tall as Sleipnir. But before he could ask another question, the future Khan responded, "Pegasus represents life, sentience, and light. Sleipnir, on the other hand, represents darkness, space, and time. They have inherited different powers from the original being born in Vantria that was blessed by all the gods and goddesses hundreds of millions of years ago and made into a guardian of the realm of the transcendence," spoke the martial emperor. "The moment you take him out to the real world, his body will disappear from that sealed realm, teleport to your location, and will merge with this Sleipnir from the future completely. Once both of them merge and turn into a single entity, then he will be free to roam Vantria without any issues," said future Khan. "He won't acknowledge someone who isn't strong or big enough to tame and ride him," stated future Khan, and the very next moment, snap! He snapped his fingers and soon the entire inner world turned into a vast 400-kilometer wide battlefield with billions of soldiers from different classes, armors, and weapons, fighting in the name of their different empires. Khan could see that this battlefield had at least 6 different empires based on the species and their insignia as they watched this scene from the stratosphere of Vantria. Thousands of warships attacked each other, and hundreds of them were destroyed and left as mere debris on the battlefield. Hundreds of saints, the beings who were rarely seen fighting in such large-scale battles, were fighting against the enemy forces, devastating both the ground and the sky. And among this chaos of utter devastation lay more than 3 billion mauled and severed corpses, mostly belonging to the forces of the 6 empires. A macabre scenery of destruction and shredded corpses lay in front of Khan. This was a scale of battle Khan had never seen, let alone imagined in his life. Many of the saints even had their domains active, meaning that they were 5th stage saint rank and above. And their target was just a single empire that they had allied against. Yes, all these billions of soldiers and hundreds of powerful saints had united against one single enemy. "Wait, is that the banner of the Rocco's empire?" asked Khan, shocked to his core. "Yes, it is. And these forces belong to the empires serving the gods. Before you get even more surprised, let me tell you this. This battle was happening after it had been more than 6 years since the Great War against demon gods started. This was just 2 years after I saved and made a pact with Sleipnir in the original timeline," revealed future Khan solemnly. "What? Why were they attacking you instead of the demon empire?" asked Khan with a flabbergasted countenance. "Because regardless of species, most of the sentient beings are greedy and selfish. Even in times of crisis and impending doom, Everyone is prone to look for their own interests and survival rather than fight together as a whole. That is the universal truth," spoke Future Khan in a contemplative tone. Dang. However, a sudden storm of darkness erupted and shook the 100-kilometer radius just with the insurmountable pressure of terrifying world energy. Nay, at the center of the battlefield arose a six-legged and two-winged figure as Sleipnir, adorning the warhorse armor across the ginormous body, made his entrance. But in the very next moment, a massive pillar of darkness condensed over his body, and Khan saw another entity whose saint pressure alone spanned a 200-kilometer radius. This was a ginormous humanoid figure, donning black armor and a helmet with golden outlines, similar to that of a knight. A large cape purely made of floating crimson blood spread from this entity's shoulders as his own fiery red eyes sent shivers to millions of soldiers of these empires. Given the sheer size of this new arrival riding Sleipnir, everyone within the 20-kilometer radius saw the titanic figure that seemed like an overlord of death, terrifying millions with its presence alone. As for the saints who had much longer eyesight and normally flew in the sky, they were simply unable to move from sheer terror. What the hell is this? Our emperors and heroes were supposed to fight him. How come he is here? Shouted a saint with the head of an elk as he spoke in a communication artifact that seemed to be present with all the other saints from different empires. But the same sense of terror and shock wasn't shared by the defending empire. The soldiers and saints from the Rakos Empire started screaming their lungs out. "Our Lord is here. We're all saved. All hail!" shouted hundreds of millions of soldiers across this widespread battlefield in unison as they welcomed this almighty being, the martial emperor. The war cry of the soldiers and saints resonated across the entire 400-kilometer wide battlefield as they screamed with joy and victorious feeling. The light in their eyes shone brighter as if the battle was already won. Current Khan, who saw this as a mere spectator, was too shocked and overwhelmed to even utter a single word. This was me at the peak of my strength as a peak 8th stage saint. And my strength in this form was one of the reasons why the people of Rakos Empire who didn't worship a single god accepted me as their emperor. Declared Future Khan with a stern voice. The current Khan didn't have a single shred of doubt about this because the aura he felt from the martial emperor was something he felt only from the god of darkness and Kravel in the new timeline. Future Khan looked so powerful, majestic, and so fearsome that he even made those mythical rank monsters and titans look like small pets, like cats and rabbits. He was already as big as Vildred, a royal dragon as far as height was concerned. When facing someone of that caliber, people would rather run away in fear than even hope to fight him. Martial Emperor also only wore armor and did not have a single weapon in hand. Next, the scene progressed to the point that Martial Emperor started summoning something in his right hand. Blip. However, the scene suddenly stopped as Future Khan spoke. "Let me stop you there. After this cut scene, everything is a huge spoiler for you and the readers." He iterated. "As for Sleipnir's powers, you can find them out later." "Why, what happened next?" asked Current Khan anyway. Khan realized that the Future Khan didn't earn the moniker of Martial Emperor for nothing. Just that he was hiding his powers from Khan for the sake of not affecting the timeline negatively. "Because after this moment," spoke the Future Khan with a kingly voice, "I used our divine weapon." Although Khan was dumbfounded and yearned to see and know more about his divine weapon, after hearing from the Future Khan, he knew it was something that should not be revealed quite yet. "To be honest, I want to show it to you, but it will become problematic when you find it. In this timeline, I'm not even sure if the divine weapon will be compliant to you like it was to me," iterated Future Khan. "Why? Is it similar to Amaterasu?" asked Khan. He knew that the divine weapons of heroes were actually sentient beings who also had a will like a living person. They could speak, think, and even communicate reasonably despite being solely made to assist the heroes to kill the demon god. "It's complicated. You'd know when you finally meet it," responded Martial Emperor with a helpless countenance. "All right, I won't pry further, but I still want to know. Why were these empires attacking the Rakos Empire instead of joining you in the war against the demon god?" asked Khan with a firm countenance as if he would not let it go. Sigh. Ah, that is within acceptable spoilers, so I tell you, said Future Khan after a slumped sigh. Because at this time, I had killed the hero of sentience who came after me. To him, losing Sleipnir to me was like some sort of personal insult. And after I absorbed his divine key, I was going to become a sovereign within a few months. On top of it, since I didn't have an empire backing me beforehand, I had an extra apple of Eden for the instant breakthrough to higher ranks by 2 stages, and added with the fact that the hero of sentience had killed the heroine of water, acquiring her divine key as well, I was sure to become a peak saint within a year since all of us had our divine keys awakened and eaten the apples of Eden. It was also the main reason why Gideon, the hero of time, also tried to kill me just so he could become a peak saint himself. It was just a few months later after this battle that I killed him and planned to return to the past, explained the martial emperor. Khan's eyes were left wide open again from the shock. Now he finally understood why everyone was after Future Khan and attacked the Rocco's empire. He had already seen how everyone coveted his divine key because he also absorbed one from the hero of fire. And given the fact that the martial emperor had 3 of them along with a spare apple of Eden, it was worth going to war for even if they had to sacrifice billions of their soldiers for it. Because a peak saint during the Great War would not only survive but also could kill the demon god himself if they were lucky. Rathnur was a prime example of this. Just that he fought against the heroes instead of the demon god because they attacked the newly founded Rocco's empire 1,000 years ago. Wait, one of those saints that their emperors and heroes were fighting you. What happened to that? Asked Khan curiously. The Future Khan replied with a grim countenance. I killed them all. Stunned, Khan was left speechless again after hearing this revelation. Do you mean you killed 6 emperors, the kind that is usually 8th stage saint rank beings along with 6 other chosen heroes? He asked in disbelief. To his query, the martial emperor replied coldly, What of it? It's not that big of a deal. Flabbergasted, Khan's figure turned ashen white from the shock. The Future Khan was simply too OP to not even bother with killing so many powerful enemies as if it was a walk in the park. I couldn't absorb their cores and divine keys because my breakthrough to the 9th stage saint was already on its way. I needed to abstain for at least another year before I could absorb more divine keys and become a demigod at last. I was so close to victory, but this bastard called Hero of Time ruined it all for me with his time-traveling mumbo-jumbo. Spoke the martial emperor in a pissed-off tone. Only now did current Khan understand that his existence would have not happened or even be needed if the future wasn't filled with so many mishaps and plot twists. If the Future Khan had enough time, he would have possibly ended the war against the demon god himself. But because Anakin coming back in time to kill him, he had to forego all his plans and create countermeasures for the new timeline where he chose different divine abilities and blessings for the new version of himself. On top of it, he even arranged for God of Darkness and Cravel finding him deities to turn his future subordinates into apostles. Why did you go so far? Gathering apostles must have been important for the future to the point that even after coming back in time, you directly got God of Darkness and Cravel involved. Asked Khan with an expectant gaze. Future Khan nodded and responded, Now, you have so many apostles and even my horse as your subordinates. This is something I was severely lacking in the original timeline, and even with the powerful allies I made, there were not even 10 people who could be helpful when facing the 12 Rakshas. You need to be an apostle or have a high-purity bloodline of a god-beast at least to face even one of them on equal footing without dying. And now, you also have 12 of those powerful subordinates, including the 4 you left in the Rocco's empire, 3 of which are in Cassandra's shadow to protect her. Make use of those 4 later after you meet her again and merge them with powerful creatures that you will be fighting in the future. Stated the martial emperor firmly. I won't tell you who or what they are because it would be a huge spoiler for everyone, so just follow my instructions. Not only yours but also the rise of your subordinates was set into motion the moment you chose those 3 divine abilities. Instructed Future Khan. You were already on the verge of becoming a demigod. Even with the original timeline with your original divine abilities staying intact, you would have most likely won the war against the demon god after you neutralized the hero of time in the new timeline. So why go to these extreme measures? Asked current Khan. Because this was also the truth that many would not be able to see or think of in the present scenario. Apart from getting rid of Hero of Time when he attacked the original Khan Salvator during the Conclave of Heroes where the Transcendent Rune of Reminiscence would have activated, bringing the Martial Emperor back in time with all his memories and knowledge of future moments intact. He seriously did not need to choose different divine abilities, get Cravel's blessings as the Apostle of War deity, or even have other deities turn his subordinates into apostle. Apart from a few events, as long as he got rid of the Hero of Time, he was free to act on his own and gradually wait till the point he became a full-fledged demigod. So why did the future Khan plan so many things beforehand and create this new timeline with the current Khan where the two of them now faced each other? Because I saw how many limitations I had because I tried to do all things on my own. And it was only after the Conclave of Heroes from the original timeline, I learned that even after becoming a demigod, I wouldn't be able to kill the demon god. Revealed future Khan with a somber tone. What? Are you kidding me? Even a demigod won't be able to kill the demon god? Asked Khan with a baffled tone. To his shocked countenance, the Martial Emperor responded sternly, Listen, the only people both of us have in common in both timelines are Rathnar, Romulus, and the person who you will meet in the future. There was a 99% chance that you wouldn't be able to find and make a pact with Sleipnir because of the different divine abilities I chose for you. And also, spoke future Khan and turned his head around. His gaze landed on the massive dragon behind his chair as he spoke to current Khan. You did not meet him in this timeline, instead you met Vildred. These four taught me everything I needed. He revealed. What Vildred is to you is what Salazar is to me, he stated. Who is this Salazar? Asked Khan in a curious voice. He too wanted to know more about this dragon who appeared along with the future Khan as soon as the Rune of Reminiscence was activated. There were 3 brothers originally. The eldest died 50,000 years ago due to old age. The second one was killed by Cravel 10,000 years ago before he became the war deity. And the youngest is still alive and guards the empire. Spoke the Martial Emperor. Among them I was the eldest, declared the dragon in a kingly tone. What do you mean? Exactly who is he? Asked Khan to the future Khan. But instead of the Martial Emperor, this dragon named Salazar spoke. The divine me is called Salazar Inbaris Sol Mortalix. I'm the reason why we made you choose the dimensional law divine ability. Declared the dragon in a firm tone as he started floating in the air. Back in my day, I was also called, declared the dragon with a domineering and majestic voice as he revealed his true identity, the Elder Dragon of Cosmos. Khan stood awestruck and rooted as the dragon behind the future Khan finally revealed his true identity. This dragon without any arms, legs, or even wings, leaked the blue fire made of cosmic ether across his body and revealed himself to be an elder dragon. Do not be surprised, child. This is not my main body or even my complete soul. I'm the only elder dragon in the history of Vantria who achieved all 5 enlightenments in the space law. Declared the elder dragon. Shocked, Khan was still recovering from the shock, but then the elder dragon revealed that he achieved all 5 enlightenments in the space law. Given how current Khan himself had achieved 3 enlightenments in this law, it was like a student doing their major standing in front of a person with PhD in that very field. And this elder dragon revealed previously that he was the main reason why future Khan orchestrated him to choose the dimensional law divine ability in the first place. Listen to me, child. There's no point in divulging my origins or how I met the original version of you in the future. So I will tell you only what's necessary. In the original timeline, I could only teach the original Khan so much about the space law. His growth in this field was non-existent despite having the same intellect as you because of his divine abilities. And after learning a secret about the demon god from a certain someone, both of us felt that if Khan had the dimensional law divine ability since the beginning, he would have had a fair chance to defeat the demon god after becoming a demigod. Revealed the elder dragon in a thoughtful tone. Soon, he started explaining the secret reason why he made Khan choose the dimensional law in this timeline. After 10 minutes, Khan was shaking with goosebumps all over his body. Dimensional law. Can do that? asked with his eyes wide open, full of disbelief. Yes, but you need to reach the fifth enlightenment similar to that of a sage to use that power. Look at my current form, for example. This is only the 1/10th part of my soul, yet it's mostly infused with cosmic ether, a form of energy derived from the linchpins of the multiverse like the one you had in the conjunction of space inside the Chamber of Exaltation. Do you think even a royal dragon can survive with such ethereal energy inside their body if they don't have the enlightenment in the space law? Stated Salazar in a proud tone. Having a cosmic form of his own, Current Khan shook his head and nodded in agreement. Even his own form was not permanent and needed a supply of cosmic ether periodically to use those powers. But the elder dragon in front of him felt as if he himself was the source of cosmic ether. For every individual, the enlightenment comes differently. For me, it happened when I was fighting a god-beast back in my time after he invaded my dragon empire. So it will most likely be different for you as well. And once you reach the fifth enlightenment, a new world will be open to you, declared the floating dragon. How did you end up like this? Asked Khan as he looked at the elder dragon with admiration and genuine respect. Salazar was like a hero to a childlike Khan who wanted to venture into the study of the space law. To send Khan back in time, I needed to create a separate realm that would be unaffected by the flow of time. We already had the spell from Hero of Time and his core as the main ingredient. Also, with the use of Transcendent Rune of Reminiscing, we already had a way to return in time. But the problem was that if we did so, the original Khan's soul or his memories of the future would also get reset. Unlike the Hero of Time, he did not get a free pass from the law of time. Thus, the only being with the knowledge of space law and the fifth enlightenment had to act. Revealed the elder dragon of Cosmos. Creating a dimension of your own is no big feat for someone like me. But sending that realm back in time while linking it to a transcendent rune while protecting another soul at the same time, it takes a huge sacrifice. He iterated somberly. And to do that, I had to sacrifice my original body and most of my soul from the future to make it happen. This current form of me is what remained of my original body and soul. Revealed the elder dragon in a gloomy tone. Now, I need to impart some of my knowledge to you in a way that would help you in the battle against the demon god, declared the dragon. For the next couple of hours, he revealed too many shocking methods and secrets to Current Khan. And like an earnest student, he listened and absorbed every single teaching. I really was an ignorant moron, thinking that I knew so much about the space law just because I achieved these enlightenments on my own. What a fool I've been, spoke Khan with despondent countenance. Do not worry, I was the same at that stage, so hopefully your growth will be much faster and more perfect than me, said the elder dragon. With this, I have told you everything needed and how you need to do it, declared the elder dragon of Cosmos. In return, all Current Khan could do was offer a bow of respect to his short-term mentor. The knowledge that the elder dragon shared was something he possibly wouldn't have found on his own even if he explored the entirety of Vantria. So in a sense, Salazar saved him centuries of time and effort after telling his secrets that took him thousands of years to master. Khan's gaze then turned to the martial emperor as he asked, "How strong were you before the regression?" Like I mentioned before, I was a peak 8th stage saint capable of even fighting against the demon emperor. The one time we fought, the battle ended in a draw as the demon god himself was forced to intervene. I was one of the 4 heroes who reached that rank in my timeline. Only Hero of Light, Hero of Space, and Hero of Lightning were just as strong as me, revealed the martial emperor. However, all of us are hostile towards each other. And I also had my divine weapon by that time in the future, which is 12 years from now. You also have Amaterasu in this timeline. Maybe you'll do a better job than me, iterated Future Khan solemnly. Now listen, there are few mistakes you shouldn't make in this timeline, the kind that even made me regret my decisions, stated the martial emperor in a commanding tone. There's someone that you will want to kill as soon as you see them, but you must not, if you don't want to mess things up in this timeline, that is. There are 3 people you must kill only after becoming a demigod. You have already saved Maximus by killing the hero of fire, so there are only 2 people you must save. And finally, there's one entity you should absorb in this timeline using the divine abilities. He explained. But soon his expression turned grim. Also, there's someone who will betray you when you won't expect it. And when that day comes, I hope you have contingencies prepared for it, said the martial emperor. Soon, he gave the new Khan the list of people in each category. Seriously, who are these people to you? And why do I need to find them? Asked current Khan. Don't ask for too many spoilers. You'll know the reason why when you actually meet them, spoke the martial emperor in an admonishing tone. Wait, what happened to Rathnar in your timeline? Asked Khan. Because so far, the future Khan barely mentioned the peak saint as if he was not a major part of his life. In the very next moment, future Khan's expression turned sullen. That, I can't tell you. It's something you'll have to know for yourself. Those were the only words he spoke while clenching his fist tightly as his eyes were filled with regret. From now on, brace for all the possibilities. And remember, try to make more friends than outright killing those who try to kill you. Do not make hasty decisions just because the situation has forced your hand, said future Khan in an imploring tone. And trust the benefactor I told you about. Because of the way I have impacted the timeline by changing our path, many events have changed. Although they have changed in our favor and might actually help in the war against the. Many events have changed. Although they have changed in our favor and might actually help in the war against the demon god. From this point onwards, spoke the martial emperor in a grim voice, the timeline itself will be your enemy. The future Khan, aka the martial emperor, warned the current Khan about an upcoming enemy. The timeline itself. I'm not bound to this timeline since I'm from the future. There are many things I want to tell you, but I can't because it will mess up the timeline more than it already is. Although because of me changing your divine abilities, coming to the past and you choosing to kill and save certain people has changed many events and saved billions of lives, we have messed with the timeline even if we did it for a valid reason, said future Khan in a solemn tone. Wait a minute. Wouldn't that also create a sort of paradox and another separate timeline in the future you are from? Because the outcome of the future has also changed because you're back in the past. Asked current Khan to the future him. Don't believe the nonsense concept of time and space from Earth. 90% of them don't apply in Vantria at all. Although what you said should happen and affect the original timeline, time in Vantria is a conscious part of existence by itself. It knows how to fix the altered timeline. Revealed the martial emperor. The first thing that will happen after you leave the conclave of heroes is that the original timeline will be completely erased. And a new timeline will be established with changed outcomes and an undefined future. Soon, this timeline will become the main timeline. Even Hero of Time can no longer mess with it by changing major events or taking advantage of his knowledge of the future without restraint. The butterfly effect also doesn't do much here. This isn't some regression type of novel where the protagonist can exploit future events or go around saving people's lives without consequences. Spoke the martial emperor firmly. Also, everything I and Salazar told you regarding the events of the future as well as the war against the demon god, the majority of them only affect you and your future actions and not the outside world from this point. And even so, those events can happen differently than the original timeline based on several things such as the survival of someone like Cassandra from the original timeline whom I never even met back then, or the death of a certain individual that greatly affected the flow of time such as you killing the hero of fire, which saved Maximus, Emperor Javi, and Vanessa. He iterated with a wisdomous tone. The number of probabilities is in billions, and all you can do from now on is be in charge of your own actions. The more you try to change the timeline, the bigger the backlash you will receive. Even the hero of time had to be cautious to not make major changes before he ambushed you here. Otherwise, his own life would be in jeopardy after the conclave. He explained. How? Asked current Khan. You will learn the reason in the future, child. Just let the history run its course. Spoke Salazar, his tone full of caution and patience. There are things I want you to focus upon if you want to kill the demon emperor and finally, The only method to kill the demon god will be revealed to you by that certain someone I mentioned before. Just know that there's a reason why no other hero was able to do it, and even I couldn't do it in the original timeline despite being on the verge of becoming a demigod. Spoke the future Khan in a stern voice. However, I can't tell you the reason or it will change the course of the future. But I will tell you what you need to focus on in the upcoming years of your life. And far more importantly, there are some people you must meet. And few people you must save for the sake of the world. Spoke the martial emperor. One of them is Maximus Gladius. He was also my friend in the original timeline when I hid myself in the Nader Empire as Atrus Bellator. Despite finding out about my real identity, he chose to defy the Nader Empire and helped me escape after Hero of Light found of my existence inside the Hesperides. Stated Future Khan as he recounted what happened in the original timeline during the Conclave of Heroes. I do not know how the current Maximus would react, but if he is still the same as the one from my timeline, then you must befriend him and aid him without questions. Ordered the martial emperor. Although the bond between current Maximus and Khan was nothing more than just acquaintances, if the future Khan told him to befriend and help the hero of nature, then Khan knew it would be for an understandable reason. Like I decided to spare the hero of time for now and turned him brain dead, there are 2 more heroes you must not kill no matter what. Also, you must be cautious of some of them, especially the hero of lightning. As for the hero of space, although he wasn't typically a friend, he wasn't an enemy either, just that he had his way of handling his responsibilities. Just never mess up or hurt people close to him and you will be okay. Instructed the martial emperor. Both of them could have been great allies to me in the great war against the demon god had our relationships been so messed up since the beginning. Soon, the future Khan gave a list of people he was talking about and the current Khan made a mental note. There must be an important reason if the future him was telling him to deal with these people a certain way. Alright, 3 to kill after becoming a demigod. 3 to save. I'm already done with Maximus. 1 person to meet after the Conclave of Heroes. Also, there's that benefactor and the certain someone whom I will meet soon. Finally, the being I must absorb using my divine abilities. Am I missing something? Said current Khan as he checked his to-do list. And how am I supposed to meet them? Apart from a few of them and that powerful being you mentioned, I can't even tell where or how am I to find the rest. He said in a puzzled voice. Don't worry. Let the time run its course. They will find you instead. Replied Future Khan. Now, the timeline will find ways to correct itself in accordance to the original one by killing some people or even changing their fates altogether. So from now on, you're no longer living this life for yourself. Spoke the martial emperor as he declared in a domineering tone. You will be fighting for the fate of this world. Meanwhile, in the peninsula made by the god of nature, a bizarre scenario occurred. What are you doing? Spoke a white tigerkin as he was shocked to the core. Currently, his body was bound to dozens of unbreakable chains made of darkness as his light elemental aura was diminishing. Don't worry, Borat won't know anything since the formation and the barrier I made will give an illusion that everything is normal here. Spoke an ice elemental blue Fenrirborn. This was Khan in his Atrus Bellator persona, and the person who he had tied up in chains and sealed abilities in a magic formation was none other than Conan Doyle. For some reason, this supposed ally from the hero's party was now suffering from torture at the hands of the brawler semi-saint while Maximus was still stuck inside the god's altar. Whoosh! Soon, another Atrus emerged from his shadow and a doppelganger beside him. What the hell are you trying to do, Atrus? Do you think others will let this slide? Shouted Conan in anger. Why would there be any issues, Conan? Even if I killed you here, no one will know. Because you're not going to die inside the Babylon, spoke Atrus with a devious smile. Squirm. Soon, his entire visage started changing as his body transformed into that of a white tigerkin, looking exactly like Conan himself. This? What kind of witchcraft is this? Bellowed Conan in disbelief. Atrus used the tigerkin bloodline he had from long before and transformed into Conan for some reason. You see, Conan, I still haven't forgiven you for what you did with those million innocent civilians. I thought I could let it go. But no matter how cold I have turned recently, this just doesn't sit right with me. And you will pay for those million lives with your own," declared Atrus. His main intention was to kill Conan for a long while, and finally, with no one watching, he was acting on his decision. "I will be taking your place, and after returning to the Nader Empire, I would stage a suicide. I will also leave a note behind in your name, confessing to the massacre and killing myself out of guilt," stated Atrus as he took away Conan's sword. You won't get away with this, you bastard. Maximus will find out the truth and he will expose you," exclaimed Conan in fury. "Is that so? Well, let me burst your bubbles," spoke Atrus with a sinister smile, and the very next moment, stab. He stabbed Conan's heart with his own sword, and then using the claw, Atrus pulled out his heart. You see, before the conclave of heroes even began, other than Borat, who didn't have innocent blood on his hands, and whether you and the others were killed during the trial or not, spoke Atrus in a grim voice and declared a tyrannical tone. "Maximus and I plan to kill you bastards anyway." In the peninsula made by God of Darkness, a serious conversation took place. Suddenly, the future Khan's tone turned commanding, as if he had relayed an undefiable order to the current Khan. "Before you ask questions, I want to tell you something about the demon god," iterated the martial emperor in a stern voice. "Do not even think about fighting him in this timeline unless you've become a demigod first. Because the truth about his existence and this entire war is not something I ever expected," he revealed. "What do you mean?" asked current Khan with a serious tone. "The eighth hero of darkness was right to do what he did, or this world would have ended 300 years ago. Right after the demon god killed 6 heroes in a single day, the massacre, only me, the hero of lightning, space, and light survived. I came to know the truth," said future Khan in a cryptic tone. "Care to elaborate instead of talking in ciphers with me?" asked Khan as he shrugged his arms. "Haha, wish I could. But that information is something you should receive only when the time is right. Soon, the benefactor whom Master Romulus told you about will come for you. With that person, you must go and find that particular individual I mentioned in the list of people you must meet. Only he can teach you one of the necessary ways to kill the demon god and prepare you for the Great War," said future Khan. "I wish I could tell you more, but it will change the future too much to the point nothing will work in your favor. But remember, the timeline and this world will try to reset the course to what it was originally supposed to be. And then you will have to make a choice that will decide the fate of the world," declared the martial emperor in a solemn voice. "What I meant by saying that you have to fight for the fate of the world is that many of your actions are going to greatly affect the newly established main timeline. Since the timeline will try to correct itself, you could lose someone very dear to you, or you will have to let them die for the greater good. There might come a time when you may have to sacrifice billions of innocent lives or even accept your death to preserve the balance of life," stated future Khan in a somber tone. "You will have to pay a great price so the timeline can correct itself, and it will be for the better. I hope that you understand the gravity of the situation and the consequences of your decision this world will face. Whether good or bad, or for the sake of saving the world or protecting your own interests, whatever choice you make, it will all be up to you. Just know that even good decisions might have bad consequences, and something good might come out of unfavorably bad situations. I cannot speak for you, even though we are the same person with the same soul. It's just that the world has been different for both of us," spoke future Khan, his tone full of wisdom and premonition. Finally, after a few minutes of contemplating, current Khan asked, "Why are you fighting against Demon God?" This question was something current Khan wanted to ask for a while, as he wanted to know how the selfish him, who was mostly detached from the matters of gods and the demon god, got involved in this fight to the point that he would even risk his own life. The current you, who was forced to act selfish and focus on self-preservation, wouldn't understand. Although I understand why we both had this mindset in both timelines, we just hadn't seen the sunlight on the other side. For me, it happened 15 years later, and for you, it still hasn't happened. Just know this. spoke the martial emperor in a serious yet firm tone. This is bigger than you and me. There are many things far more valuable than your own life at stake. Killing the demon god regardless of the cost, even if it means our death. This is the only way to save this world, he declared in a stoic voice. To save everything. An eerie silence ensued after the martial emperor enlightened the current Khan about how the fate of the world was at stake. What do you mean by everything? Asked Khan to his future self. That is something someone else will tell you. I am going to refrain from revealing it myself. You should find out about it when the time is right and from the right person to keep the timeline from deviating furthermore. Iterated the future Khan. Fine. Keep your secrets. Responded Khan and asked another question. So how does it end for you? To this query, the martial emperor raised an eyebrow. So you are aware? I guess there's no point in hiding. I will simply leave. Responded the future Khan indifferently. We have accomplished what we had to do after returning to the past. We have told you all the important answers to the questions you had. I have told you whom to save, whom to meet, and whom to kill, and when to do it. Declared the martial emperor. Soon, he cast another rune with his soul essence mixed with it and the rune merged with Khan's figure. It's called Descent of the Martial God. One of the strongest original powers I created in the original timeline. Consider that as a parting gift. Use it whenever you are facing a lot of strong opponents. Even if it can't help you win, it will at least deter them from making any moves on you. Spoke future Khan with a reassuring tone. As the successor of my will, I leave everything to you now. We have forged you a path and your only obligation is to walk on it. However, the path will still be filled with blood and bones of both the people you're supposed to protect and the enemies you are supposed to kill. How you walk it, how you face those odds. It's something only you can decide for yourself. So farewell, other me. It's time for us to depart, said the martial emperor, and he looked at Khan with an expectant gaze as he gave a final nod of affirmation. Shwoom! Suddenly, Khan was expelled from the mental world and now, only the martial emperor and the elder dragon of Cosmos remained in it. After the current Khan left, the atmosphere of the white mental world turned somber and full of grief. It is time for us to go. Thank you, old friend. Thank you for helping me come back in time even though you knew that you would cease to exist completely from both timelines. Spoke future Khan as he gazed at Salazar with a regretful expression. Who do you think you're talking to, brat? I'm the great elder dragon Salazar. I have already lived far longer than even some demigods. Even this small fragment of my soul has existed for more than 50,000 years. Spoke the dragon with a cheerful smile. Maybe it was my destiny to meet you in the original timeline and bring you in this one so the new version of you could defeat the demon god. I chose to do this not only for you but also for the dragon empire that will cease to exist in this world if he becomes a demigod. This is a very small price to pay considering that I contributed in steering the fate of the world. Declared the cosmic dragon pridefully. Next, he asked Khan, you know that the god of darkness will be very angry with your decision, right? Because you were supposed to take over this new version of yourself and have every information and combat skills that you have seen and experienced through the transcendent rune of reminiscence. He stated firmly. You too have lived this new timeline just like him. You can do an even better job as the hero of darkness than him who is still oblivious to the great responsibility. If you absorbed his soul and became one with it, nobody in this entire world would know. Not even his subordinates or Rathnar. You're basically throwing away the advantage of knowing the future. So why did you not choose to take over him? Questioned the elder dragon. To his question filled with curiosity and concern, the future Khan chuckled and replied calmly, doesn't matter. The hero of time is a prime example that even the knowledge of the future doesn't mean anything if a major event deviates even slightly. Look at us. Me coming from the future basically ruined all his plans and preparations. And given this new timeline and how things have developed at this stage, changed by the new version of me, I don't think it will make a huge difference even if I took over his body. He stated with a content smile as if he had no regrets. As for God of Darkness, he can take it up to the new Khan. I too had the same plan before, but now that I have lived this new life with him and as him, I changed my mind. He spoke with a hopeful tone. Why? Asked the dragon. It's because he has lived a different life than mine in the original timeline. He has felt different emotions and made different choices as well as mistakes. But he has also met different people, formed different relationships, and made better decisions in some aspects than I would have ever made. He spoke with anticipation in his tone. Although I may have been the orchestrator of this new life for the new version of me, he is a different man than I am, declared the martial emperor in a stern voice. Hopefully, he will be a better man than I ever was in the original timeline. He does not realize yet, but he has a lot to protect, many people he holds dear, and a lot to fight for in the upcoming future than I ever did. We have created a path for him to defeat the demon god, the path we did not know existed in the original timeline. However, this time he will have to walk it on his own instead me, the one who never had the chance to succeed. He spoke as the surroundings started changing. He's not the hero that this world wants or deserves, but the hero they will need when the dark times come. Soon, the plain white world was turned into a vast garden filled with serene and enchanting trees and flowers. A large wooden log appeared in front of the martial emperor and he sat on it while letting out a sigh. I don't think it would have been fair to him or even me to rob him of that opportunity that we sacrificed so much for. It is no longer my destiny, but his, he said and looked at the lush greenery and transcendent image of the field full of colorful flowers around him. We both knew that we did not have any way to defeat the demon god, so we orchestrated everything for this new timeline after the opportunity arose when I killed the hero of time. Now let's hope he does not fail like we did. For once, let him be truly in control of his fate, declared the martial emperor with a countenance full of acceptance. Besides, I'm tired. I want to finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. He spoke with an exhausted voice. After hearing the response, Salazar's draconic maw let out a grin. And this is why I chose to come back in time with you, Con Salvatore. You may not be perfect, but you are a warrior of honor just like me. Having seen you making that final decision, I have no regrets, although I won't be teaching and assisting this new version of you in this timeline. Giving him a path to walk on to complete his mission and defeat the demon god for good is enough for me, declared the elder dragon with a content countenance. Whoosh! You're a good man, Con Salvatore. It was an honor knowing you and calling you a friend, spoke the elder dragon of cosmos as his entire being made of black and blue cosmic ether started fading out of existence. Soon, the martial emperor who saw the elder dragon disappearing bowed in respect to his closest ally and friend with a sense of appreciation. Crumble. Next, his own soul started turning into white ash and started spreading across the field with the passing wind. In just mere moments, the future Khan turned into dust and spread across the mental world, leaving no trace behind. Both the original Khan and Salazar disappeared with content expressions as the transcendent rune of reminiscence vanished from Khan's back. The martial emperor and the elder dragon of cosmos ceased to exist in the world completely regardless of space and timelines. In Babylon, Khan was back in control of his body while remembering everything the original Khan and the elder dragon told him as he opened his eyes. Sigh. Does he think I'm an idiot? It's clear that he could take over me easily. As the creator of the system, he had the authority and power to become the monolith, iterated the current Khan with a thoughtful countenance as he gazed at the melancholic sky. You could overpower my consciousness and soul within a second and I wouldn't be able to do a damn thing. But whatever your reason may be to leave the fate of the world to me, do not worry. I will make sure that, said Khan in a resolute tone as he made an oath to himself. Your sacrifice was worth it. Khan was now done in the peninsula made by God of Darkness. He looked at the vast expanse. I will have to come here one day after my divine key is awakened. Like the future me said, I can no longer stay away from the matters of the gods. He spoke in a somber tone. He then looked at Anakin, the hero of time who was still kneeling on the ground. His eyes were wide open and he was drooling like a brain-dead person while murmuring gibberish to himself. Good thing the future me planned ahead and turned him brain dead. Khan walked up to him and took out the Warhorn of Confinement, the ancient rank artifact. Segura del Fati Salum, chanted Khan. Shwum! Shatter! A golden aura was released by the Warhorn and soon, Khan felt the golden shackles on him shattering. And finally, "Kid, you're alive!" shouted Rathnar, the peak saint in joy. After Khan deactivated the Warhorn of Confinement, the severed connection between him and Rathnar was re-established again. Soul connection to the peak saint, Rathnar Whitlock, has been re-established. The host has regained connection to the peak saint's core. Access to space law has been regained. Dimensional shift is back in effect. Dimensional domain and dimensional cut can be used again. The expelled world energy in this region has returned. Any skills that are passively active because of the world energy can be used again. Energy plunderer and phase shift skill can be used now. Effects of all the bloodlines as well as skills and powers granted by them have returned to their previous efficiency. The primordial Titan bloodline and the skills granted by it are now available to use. Void Realm skill can be used again because the flow of time and space within the 20-kilometer range is back to normal. Lucid Reality can be used again due to the host's returned mana and physical stats. The effects attack powers of all the weapons and armor and their skills have returned to their previous strength. Link with summoned entities through the Sovereign of the Dead skill is re-established again. The host can summon his monster army or the fighter class warriors. The overall physical attributes of the host have returned to their former stats. The host is now comparable only to a beginner 6th-stage saint. Informed the system. Khan on the other end intently stared at the Warhorn of Confinement. The ancient rank artifacts are indeed something else. No formation or artifact had made me this weak till this point. I'm sure I can use this as one of my trump cards when fighting even an 8th-stage saint. This is an artifact that even the most powerful empires would covet. Spoke Khan. That is indeed the truth, boy. Even the emperors and empresses of the empires have to be wary of these types of artifacts. I too once suffered from Warhorn of Confinement but failed to acquire it when I fought the hero of time from my era. This is a must-have treasure. Spoke the first emperor of the Rocco's Empire. Khan then looked at Anakin, who had turned into an idiot. I won't kill you for now as per the instructions, but I will be taking this as compensation, he declared. As for the cores of your party members, they will be a great resource for my subordinates when I meet them again. He spoke with a devilish smirk. Kid, how did you survive? Asked Rathnar to Khan. Wow. Look at the confidence you have in me. Don't tell me you thought I would lose to the likes of him? Rebuked Khan in disbelief. He did not acknowledge the existence of the future Khan, Salazar, and the transcendent rune of reminiscence. It was done so because the martial emperor had instructed him to never tell anyone about his return in time, neither to Rathnar nor Vildred. Khan understood it was necessary to hide the truth because it would impact the timeline and actions of the people he knew. Also, Rathnar's fate was unknown to him, so he intentionally chose to let the time take its course as advised by the future him and the Elder Dragon. Hey, don't blame me. I was completely separate from you. I couldn't see or feel anything after he used that artifact. Never mind, it's pointless to ask now that you have emerged victorious. Let's kill this bastard and return to Maximus, proclaimed the Peak Saint. No, I'm not going to kill him, said Khan with a thoughtful countenance. And why is that? Are you leaving a potential threat behind willingly? Questioned Rathnar. There's no point in killing him. It would only turn me into an enemy of another empire. Let's not give them more excuses to hunt me down than they already have. Besides, this guy is brain dead now. He won't be able to do much from this point, said Khan, and soon he took out the Hero of Time space ring. He emptied all the contents except one apple of Eden and pulled all the resources such as cores, weapons, magic scrolls, and potions into his own space ring. The reason he did so is that the martial emperor willingly left one apple of Eden for Anakin aka Gideon. And there must be a big reason why he did so. I guess the future me left that for the emperor of the Empire of Time. They care more about the apples of Eden than they care for the heroes. It should be enough to keep them silent. And if I'm not wrong, Maximus must have eaten his share as well and must have kept one for Empress Kali for her future use. He thought to himself. Khan then told Rathnar about the deal between gods and empires. Ha! Following a god's divine teachings, my ass. These bastards always wanted to become a sovereign, and that's why they served them and protected these so-called heroes. If only the people of these empires knew that they were living a lie for thousands of years now. Scoffed off the peak saint. All the heroes who reached the god's altar and gained the apples of Eden will soon break through and gain 2 to 3 stages of saint rank after the conclave of heroes ends. Compared to them, I, whose divine key is still unawakened, am most likely to fall behind. Spoke Khan with a worrisome expression. Do not lose hope, kid. We have come so far even without the help of God of Darkness or having your divine weapon. We will find a way. Spoke Rathnar, trying to console Khan. Soon, his gaze turned to the hero of time and he used lucid reality on him. Return to your peninsula. Go back from your own exit of Babylon and never tell anyone about what happened here. If anyone asks, your party members died during the trials and you already ate your apple of Eden. He instructed. Soon, like a puppet, Anakin got on his feet and walked toward the realm tear he came from. The effect of lucid reality will stay for a couple of days before he returns to his previous state. Now, thought Khan and made a declaration. It's time for me to reveal myself to the world, not as Atrus Bellator nor as anyone else. What do you mean? Asked Rathnar with a puzzled voice. It's time for everyone to know about Khan Salvator, said Khan as he made a firm and resolute announcement. The hero of darkness. To Rathnar, the former peak saint of Vantria, Khan divulged his intentions to suddenly reveal his identity as the hero of darkness to all the empires of the world. What? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you have a death wish or something, boy? Exclaimed Rathnar in shock. Trust me, as bizarre as it sounds, I have it on good authority that I must leave from the exit which will put me at the gate of the tower for the hero of darkness. And that too in my true human form. Replied Khan. What nonsense are you spouting? All the emperors and empresses will be waiting outside, along with that group of people tasked to hunt you down. There will also be other heroes and their parties gathered together. Even with Vildred on your side, you are not strong enough to fight or survive against any of them, he berated Khan. On top of it, how the hell are you planning to leave Hesperides? The only exit for you is the gateway of the Beast Empire. But if you use that, then your identity as Atrus will be revealed. Romulus will be branded as a traitor and probably killed as well. Informed the peak saint out of his wits. I know that what I said sounds absurd, but think of it as a premonition. I must leave via the Tower of Darkness if we are to survive. Just follow my guts. Spoke Khan. He did not reveal why he was choosing to do so because of what the future Khan told him. The Martial Emperor told him that according to the original timeline, there was someone called the Benefactor who would be waiting outside for him. In the original timeline, because the Hero of Light had found the original Khan, the latter had to change his plans and hide from several heroes who hunted him in Babylon. But he managed to escape their eyes, regroup with Maximus, and return from the tower made for Hero of Nature. And after leaving, he finally saw the Benefactor who had come for him. But the problem was that it was already too late for him to reveal his identity. Because at that stage, if he did so, then his identity as Atrus would be brought into questioning and Romulus' secret as the former member of the 8th Hero of Darkness party would have been revealed. Back then, the original Khan requested the Benefactor to not act and return to the Beast Empire to keep their secrets. Only after 2 years of planning, he managed to fake his death and leave with the said Benefactor without leaving any trace behind that the Empress Kali could track and reveal about him being alive. So in this timeline, the Martial Emperor wanted current Khan to reveal his identity as Hero of Darkness from the get-go and not delay any more than necessary so that he would be brought up to speed regarding the matters of gods and the war against the demon god. He also instructed Khan to not use any fake persona or hide his identity for some reason, as if doing so would hinder the future somehow. For that very reason, Khan had decided to trust the martial emperor and reveal himself to all the empires and their leaders as well as heroes. But first, we need to return to the heroes' party. There are few things I need to put into motion first before I reveal myself, spoke Khan and walked into the realm tier. 7 days later, the time for the departure came after Maximus returned to Babylon from the god's altar. When he returned, he received a message from Khan in his persona as Atrus. Conan is dead as we agreed. Borat has no idea, so everything is going as we planned. However, I have a request, said Khan as the blue Fenrirborn relayed his request to Maximus. Meanwhile, in Hesperides, most heroes exited from their respective towers. Some had worn-out expressions, while many had very few members of their parties than before. Among all of them, only the hero of lightning, hero of space, hero of light, and the hero of life, the last one containing Khan's subordinates, had returned with their entire party alive. As for the rest of the heroes and heroines, they only had a somber countenance veiled under their hoods. Each of them met their respective emperors and empresses and handed them their share of the apples of Eden. Only heavy host Siegfried of the Vulcan Empire and the empty spot for the Abyss Empire received nothing from this conclave of heroes. "Father, do you think he's here?" asked one of the two veiled individuals under red cloaks behind the Fireborn Emperor. "Vanessa, you don't need to worry about Khan. I have received reliable intel that he successfully entered Babylon and will most likely return safely," spoke the one-eyed emperor with a crimson-red spear in his hand. The one behind him was his daughter and the princess of the Vulcan Empire, as well as one of Khan's very few friends in Vantria, aka Vanessa host Siegfried. "My only regret is that we won't have an apple of Eden of our own. I was planning to give it to you in the future after you became an 8th stage saint. Alas, we need to confirm Khan's survival first before acting," responded the emperor. After hearing his words of affirmation, Vanessa could only nod and clenched her fist tightly. "Khan, you better be alive. I have a debt to repay. If you are exposed, we will fight for you," thought Vanessa with a resolute mind. Boom! But right when she was lost in thoughts, a tremendous aura of darkness spread in Hesperides as a very powerful being arrived. "Oh ho, looks like we have a surprise guest here," said the celestial guardian, the deity who was in charge of conducting the conclave of heroes. Tremble, shiver. All of the heroes, their party members, and the envoys of the empires felt an insurmountable and life-threatening aura that sent shivers down their spines. Swoosh! Shing! All the emperors and empresses used their skills to create defensive barriers to safeguard their respective entourages, as they felt a familiar pressure that suddenly turned their countenances grim with disbelief and fear. "What's this? Why is he here?" spoke Kali with a bewildered face. Swoosh! And right then, a terrifying existence covered in a dark green aura suddenly exited one of the gateways that allowed everyone from different empires to enter Hesperides. However, the gateway this new entity arrived from sent shock to everyone, as it was the only gateway where none of them expected anyone to arrive from in this conclave of heroes. Flap! With a gust of wind, a tall and broody silver-haired vampire in black and green armor arrived at the gathering. His eyes filled with cold and murderous intent as he looked at the congregation of the heroes and the top echelons of all empires that served gods. "What's the meaning of this, Revenant Sovereign?" asked one of the emperors. The person who arrived and revealed his terrifying aura in Hesperides was none other than one of the 4 sovereigns of Vantria named Argos Belmont. The entire group of powerful saints from the 12 empires was stunned, along with the mysterious group assigned with hunting Khan. The air was filled with a dreary aura and everyone's heart were palpitating with anticipation while clenching their weapons and readying their skills. "It is forbidden for sovereigns to appear in the conclave of heroes, especially the one with no allegiance to any gods," spoke Kali with an incredulous tone. "Quite the harsh welcome you're offering, my beloved," spoke Argos Belmont, the vampire king playfully. A small smirk appeared on his face as he stared intently at the emperors, empresses, and the heroes. "Quite the assembly we have here. With these types of powerhouses, you might even be able to kill a beginner 9th stage saint," spoke Argos with a mischievous grin. "Who are you, child?" I have no prior information about you, said the celestial guardian from the vast skies. The sovereign on the other end slightly bowed in respect as he spoke in a firm tone. My apologies for coming unannounced. It took me some time to come here from the border of the Demon Empire. I had a hard time settling matters and establishing a temporary ceasefire between the armies of the four empires and the Demon Emperor. Luckily enough, our aggressive enemy too agreed to halt the war for a few months. And thus, it took me some time before I could come here. Spoke the vampire sovereign in a kingly tone. And what business does an eldritch vampire like you have here in Hesperides? Asked the celestial guardian in a curious voice. To this query, the vampire sovereign let out a sinister smirk as his gaze turned around all the members of the empires. I come to the conclave of heroes to present and also declare myself as the newly elected and the official representative of, he openly declared, which sent everyone in another shock. God of Darkness. Without any form of prior information, hint, or a warning, Argos Belomont, the vampire king also known as the Revenant Sovereign of Vantria, one of the four strongest saints of the present era, suddenly showed up at the conclave of heroes and suddenly declared himself as the new official representative of God of Darkness. Shock! Gasp! Everyone was completely befuddled after this revelation and could not believe their own ears. Many emperors and empresses as well as the summoned heroes were shocked beyond belief as this powerhouse made this bold and unexpected proclamation. The rule that says a sovereign cannot be present at the conclave of heroes applies only to those who do not serve any of the gods or backed their respective heroes in case there is already an empire representing them. I, on the other hand, am an exception because I now represent the God of Darkness as well as my Belmont kingdom shall now officially back the hero of darkness. Spoke Argos as he gazed at the celestial deity. You wrote these rules yourself, O celestial deity, the first to pledge allegiance to God of space and the first being of Vantria to achieve fifth enlightenment in the laws of cosmology. Tell me, am I still ineligible to be present here? Asked the vampire king while revealing the truth about the celestial deity himself. No, you are not. I wrote that rule to protect the heroes and the emperors of the empires in case a sovereign turned hostile and tried to kill them. There are ways such an individual could harm them without even lifting a finger or attacking them in any form. But since you proclaim to be the representative of God of Darkness, I need to see the proof. Stated the deity in a stern and calm tone. As you should, said the sovereign and summoned a star-shaped red object. Boom! Suddenly, an unbearable aura of death and darkness spread across Hesperides, and even the legendary rank spells, protection barriers, and artifacts couldn't stop the aura from affecting everyone present. What the hell are you trying to do here? Spoke the elven emperor of the Zivit Empire, which represented the god of life. Ah, the key of abyss. It's been such a long time since I saw it last. Previously, the emperor of the Abyss Empire presented it to me after the conclave of heroes was agreed upon by the gods over 3,000 years ago. You having this means you have been chosen by the God of Darkness and represent his will. Iterated the celestial deity, and with one of his 6 palms, he swept away the insurmountable aura of darkness. Well, now that it has been established, I would also like to make an announcement. Since I now represent God of Darkness in place of the fallen Abyss Empire, anyone who dares to touch the hero of darkness after he exits from the tower shall meet death at my hands as per the laws of the conclave. Declared the vampire in a grim and domineering voice. Argos Belmont then released his own aura of darkness, no longer hiding the fact that he was a darkness element user. All of you know that one can create the 3rd form of their domain only after you become a 9th stage saint. Many of you can't even survive the 2nd form of my domain, so what do you think will happen if I use the 3rd form in order to defend the hero of darkness? Spoke the Revenant Sovereign with a smug and sinister tone. Out of the 12 emperors and empresses, barely 3 of you will manage to stay alive when we fight. Even if few of you survived, can you guarantee that your families, your children and wives, along with the heroes you've brought here as well as some of the most powerful saints of your empires present here will share the same fate? He kept rubbing salt on their wounds like an overbearing tyrant. At this exact moment, heavy host Siegfried, the emperor of the Vulcan Empire, telepathically contacted him. Just like you ordered, I came here under the pretext of capturing the hero of darkness. You also said I should declare my support to you and Khan in case things turn sour. But why are you suddenly revealing yourself as the servant of God of darkness instead of keeping it a secret like we agreed last time? Asked the Fireborn Emperor. Some unforeseeable predicaments occurred recently. That's why I had to parley with the Demon Emperor and suddenly come here instead of keeping it hidden since I'm the strongest guardian Khan can have at this moment. Replied Argos without changing his expression in the slightest. So should I also proclaim my support now? Asked Havi. No, not now. It's too early. There is someone else who joined our cause recently. So it's better if you both are acting as insider spies in the opposition instead of revealing our alliance prematurely. I can't fully trust the new ally yet and he doesn't know about you already being on my side, so I need your help to keep an eye on them. Iterated the sovereign as he too had his reservations about the new alliance he made recently. Who is it? Asked Emperor Havi. Argos revealed who this new ally was. Shock. This time, even the Emperor of the Vulcan Empire had trouble hiding his shock. Why him? Asked Havi. He didn't move or look in any particular direction to not raise suspicion. There is a reason, I'll tell you later. But that's why I need you to check if they are truly on our side based on the intel he provides and what you give me about the decisions that will happen after this incident. He can be trusted only if his intel matches with yours after the empires decide to react and plan on how to deal with Khan. Explained Argos as he maintained his arrogant expression to the rest. This conversation occurred in only 8 seconds in real time, so no one suspected anything. Havi then decided to not act on their previous arrangements and stood on the side of other opposing emperors and empresses. Argos, on the other hand, continued his threatening speech. Hell, if there weren't other 3 sovereigns present in this era, I could even kill all of you after leaving the conclave. Take my warning lightly and I will lay waste to all of your empires and your heroes as soon as we leave Hesperides if the hero of darkness is killed by any of you here. His arrogant countenance along with a threatening glare sent shivers in everyone's spines. So tell me, what's it gonna be? Can any one of you bear the consequences? He asked with a deathly aura spreading from his body. To his words, not a single one of the opposing empires decided to speak a word as their bodies could not even move at their will. Not even the members of the mysterious group created to hunt the hero of darkness. Good. Now stay in line like obedient children. He spoke haughtily, oozing a tyrannical aura. Besides, hero of darkness shouldn't even be your concern. He made a declaration. Why? Asked an emperor. How come none of you have noticed it? He asked with a coy tone. And next, his gaze turned to Anakin, the hero of time, as he pointed his finger at the hero. Without waiting another moment, the Vampire King made another grand revelation at the Conclave of Heroes. This bastard is a time regressor. He's come back from the future. In the middle of the chaos and surprises, the Vampire King, Argos Belmont, suddenly told everyone that the hero of time is from the future. He knows what's going to happen in the future. So basically, he is even a bigger threat to all of us, our heroes and the demon god, than the hero of darkness that you all have been searching for. Declared the 9th stage saint in a serious tone. Everyone's gazes landed at Anakin, who was simply shocked that his secret was out. But what others didn't know was that he was still under Martial Emperor Khan's spell that he engraved on his head using the dragon runic magic that Salazar, the elder dragon of Cosmos, brought from the future. Anakin was not to reveal meeting the future Khan and the fact that he already fought with him. He even told the Emperor from the Empire of Time that he already absorbed his Apple of Eden and had given the one for the Empire to the Emperor. So nobody suspected anything. But now that Argos Belmont, the Revenant Sovereign, had revealed his truth, all the eyes were focused on him. Clank! Right then, the Tower of Nature lit up and 3 figures arrived. All of them were in a haggard situation and had torn off clothes. This bastard! I'll kill you right here! Shouted Maximus. He has to pay! Exclaimed Borat in rage. And finally, it was Conan who spoke. This bastard. He broke the agreement between the empires and attacked us inside Babylon. He declared furiously. Heavenly King of Fire, I'm sorry, said Maximus with a pitiful and tired voice. For what? And why are there only 3 of you? Asked Romulus in shock. The hero of time ambushed us just recently, and to make sure that we escaped with our lives, spoke the hero of nature apologetically. Your shadow disciple Atreus? He sacrificed his life and was killed by the hero of time, declared Maximus as he clenched his grip on his great sword. What? Atreus is dead? Asked Romulus with a completely bewildered countenance. He could not believe that Khan was actually killed by the hero of time. But right then, a telepathic message sounded in his mind. The one to speak was none other than Vildred, the Lightning Dragon Emperor. Don't worry, Fenrirborn. If our disciple Khan was already dead, then I too would have died due to the contract of familiarity. That means he's still alive, said the sage of preservation from the true dimension. Romulus retained his shocked and devastated countenance. This bastard! How dare he ambush our hero? Shouted Empress Kali, thoroughly enraged. He also killed Atreus. She spoke with a sense of loss. Damn it! The future pawn that I was going to cultivate for my benefit was killed so suddenly inside Babylon, thought the Kukulkan Empress with eyes full of fury. Explain this, Emperor of Amzur Empire, she shouted, pulling out her spear. This is a lie, refuted the Emperor, whose face was hidden under a veiled golden spherical hat. However, a thunderous voice echoed from Maximus. A lie? He himself said that his original plan was to kill the Hero of Darkness. But Hero of Darkness killed his entire party and he had to run away. And that's why he ambushed us for my divine key. The Hero of Nature also added to the claim this time. This claim was half truth and half lie. But for what reason was Maximus Gladius, the current Hero of Nature, attesting it in front of all these representatives of different empires? No one knew. What? So the Hero of Darkness is indeed present at the Conclave of Heroes? Asked Kali, completely befuddled. Gasp! Shock! This emotion and surprise were shared by everyone because no one suspected or had found out that the Hero of Darkness had already infiltrated Hesperides and even entered Babylon. So with that established as the truth, everyone could ask only one question to themselves. How? As everyone was engrossed and trying to grasp the situation, a majestic and divine voice echoed, "HM. The aura around him is normal and his body doesn't show any signs of time disruption. Let me look carefully." Spoke the celestial deity, the guardian of Hesperides, the massive being whose real size could not even be fathomed despite everyone looking at the sky filled with multiple worlds and auras of ethereal energy, stared at Anakin. His soul. It is indeed different than all the other heroes. The aura of time disruption, the one you lot call the time regression, does indeed exist in his soul. Looks like the god of time pulled an unexpected move, said the celestial guardian. Stupefied, the emperor backing the hero of time was simply stupefied, because even a literal deity had confirmed that the hero of time had come from the future. What did it entail for him as the emperor and his Amzur empire that served the god of time? It meant that they were now going to be targeted by basically every empire and even the demon empire in the future once the word got out. Because a hero coming from the future and the information he held regarding the future was simply invaluable. Something that all the empires who were friendly only on the surface would eagerly covet and would attack their empire for because of the upcoming war. Argos Belmont, revealing that the hero of time was a time regressor, had done one thing certainly: he royally screwed them over. Everyone's attention was now on Hero of Time. But the hero was simply standing without reacting or responding to anything, as if he was unstable in his mind. Because at this moment, he couldn't even tell that everything that happened in front of him was reality, a dream, or just an alternative timeline because of what Martial Emperor did to him. His brain was basically fried up to the point that he himself was doubting if he was the hero of time or someone else. Boom! And exactly when everyone was least expecting, the Tower of Darkness opened and a long shadow was cast at the front. Step. A figure of regal bearing emerged from the depths of the battlefield, commanding attention with every step. Clad in a dark gray long coat, intricately adorned with silver patterns that seemed to dance in the flickering light, He exuded an aura of authority and power. At his side, a black long sword, its hilt adorned with fearsome dragon heads, gleamed with an otherworldly sheen. In his other hand, he held a golden spear, its surface etched with ancient dwarven and elven runes, pulsating with latent energy. With each stride, he carried himself with a confidence that bespoke of his formidable prowess. His attire, crafted from materials of mythical rank dragon, spoke volumes of his strength. Gauntlets and boots, forged from the bones of legendary beasts, adorned his form, enhancing his already imposing presence. This human with a ripped and muscular body, shoulder-length black hair and black eyes gazed at the entire entourage made up of emperors and empresses, heroes and heroines, their surviving party members, and the powerful saints of the group created to hunt him. Without showing any hint of fear, anxiety, or alertness towards the danger these powerful figures posed towards him. "This is quite the crowd for my welcome party." The man spoke with a confident and authoritative tone as he made a proclamation. "I am Con Salvatore, your friendly neighborhood hero of darkness." The entire surrounding at the front gates of the Towers of Gods now lay at a standstill as everyone, including the chosen heroes, ruling authorities of empires, and even the celestial deity itself, was stunned as soon as Khan revealed himself as the hero of darkness. Stunned, gobsmacked. As Khan gazed at the powerhouses around him, those were the only two expressions he could see on their countenances. Other than most of the heroes and their party members who were hiding under robes and cloaks to keep their identities secret, the emperors, the empresses, and the hunting group were out in the open, and all he could see was disbelief. However, the two heroes had their faces exposed. Maximus Gladius, aka the hero of nature, and Anakin Redfield, aka the hero of time, had already revealed their appearances to everyone. Shiver. A cold shiver ran across Anakin's body as his expression stiffened. And in the next few seconds, a stream of questionable liquid ran down his trousers. After looking at Khan's menacing and overbearing appearance, the one man who was the very driving force of his nightmares, the hero of time, pissed his pants in front of everyone. Because no matter which life or timeline he was living in at the moment, every time he saw Khan, his life would be completely destroyed in the most horrible way in the end. "So you're still here, huh?" said Khan as he intently stared at Anakin. "Well, I spared you because I didn't want another empire chasing me after that whole mess with the hero of fire in the Vulcan Empire. However, if I see you baring your fangs at me again, there won't be any mercy," declared Khan in an overbearing voice. "So it's true. The hero of time did fight the hero of darkness and attacked the hero of nature and his party after the latter killed all of his party members," spoke one of the members of the mysterious group. This solidified Argo's previous proclamation that hero of time was indeed a time regressor, since only that could explain how he found the hero of darkness so easily while none of them even had any idea that he had already arrived at the conclave of heroes. Khan then looked at other heroes and emperors, the former kind being under their cloaks to hide their appearances and auras. "Good. Keep hiding your faces and identities. Do not reveal them to me or come in my way like this fool here," said Khan in a grim and sinister tone as if death itself was speaking through him. "Otherwise, I may end up killing you accidentally," he declared in a menacing tone. His cold and murderous aura spread into the surroundings, leaving no room for rebuttal. Then Khan's gaze shifted to the Elven Emperor. "I did what to the hero of life's party? You bastard elves really are cunning. You blame me for something I had nothing to do with. I haven't even been to the Elven Empire, but suddenly I hear that somehow I, the hero of darkness, ambushed the hero of life and tried to kill him just like I did with the hero of fire." He spoke in a threatening tone, directly facing the 8th stage saint with no sense of fear or indecision in his eyes. Khan both talked and walked confidently as if he was not facing the strongest saints of the world but roadside cats and dogs. "How about we make that false accusation into reality?" he asked the Elven Emperor in an insidious voice. "You impertinent brat. How dare you talk to me in such a way?" exclaimed the Elven Emperor in rage. Boom! However, instead of the Emperor, it was Khan who released his aura of pure and terrifying darkness. The very next second, Everyone present at this gathering was stupefied. What the hell? Many emperors and empresses were shocked. He's already a 6th-stage saint. Didn't he become a 1st-stage saint just 5 years ago? Said Markgrav, the Lionkin representative of the Beast Empire from the group made to hunt the hero of darkness. But the density and strength of his aura is no different than that of a beginner 7th-stage saint. Just how strong his foundation and body are to emit such an overbearing and dangerous aura, spoke Kali in utter disbelief. He. Of course, he is strong. He became a saint after using my Rathnar Whitlock, the former peak saint of Vantria's breakthrough technique. Not just the aura, but his body is also on par with an actual beginner 7th-stage saint despite him being only a beginner 6th-stage saint. Just bow in respect to my amazing accomplishment, you damn plebeians, said Rathnar in Khan's mind, gloating shamelessly. It was indeed the truth. Khan's body consumed twice the resources compared to other saints and even heroes, but thanks to Rathnar guiding him since the first time he became a saint after acquiring the Tablet of Arcana and Rathnar's half-soul in Verlassen fiefdom of the Rocos Empire, he became overwhelmingly strong and his normal physical strength was always on par with others of a higher rank. Meanwhile, the Elven Emperor and his entourage wanted to react to this bold proclamation. But right then, haughty and overbearing with the skills and strength to back that arrogance. I like it. It was Argos Belmont, the revenant sovereign, who spoke in joy. He walked close to Khan and spoke in a stern voice. I have been looking for you for quite some time. I wasn't even sure you'd make it to the Conclave of Heroes. Well, one thing led to another and I ended up in one of their parties. All I had to do was fake my death during their trials and leave. As for which hero or heroine it was, it's their problem to figure it out, revealed Khan with a smug countenance. What? He entered as a member of a hero's party? Said a saint from the mysterious group. It was that very moment when all the top echelons of these almighty empires and the mysterious group of warriors specifically made to hunt Khan realized collectively that they were the very reason why the hero of darkness arrived safely at the Conclave of Heroes. And now, instead of cowering in fear, hiding like a rat to save his life or running away like a weakling, Khan Salvator, the hero of darkness they had been looking for all this time, stood in the most domineering and fearless manner despite facing the strongest powers of the world, completely unfazed. The atmosphere of the Conclave of Heroes was now filled with palpitating hearts and anticipation as the supposed prey of the empires was now confidently standing before them without a shred of fear in his eyes. Khan intentionally hinted that he faked his death during the trial, and not after the trial was passed by one of the heroes. That way, no one would suspect Atrus, the one who died after the ambush by the hero of time after Maximus, the hero of nature, passed the trial and also witnessed his demise at the hands of the hero of time. And given the number of survivors who were less than half the original numbers before all the heroes and heroines entered Babylon, no empire had a chance to know which one of their party members was actually the hero of darkness or how he faked his identity to enter Babylon right under their nose. In honesty, no one would want to claim that on themselves because they would face scrutiny and embarrassment if it was found that they were so incompetent that a lone hero even managed to enter their empire's elite group of warriors who were tasked with assisting and protecting the heroes, and passed right through the front door when all the empires were hunting the hero of darkness zealously. So you didn't attack the hero of life, but they blamed it on you? Asked Argos. Khan nodded, and at this very moment, he telepathically messaged Romulus. Master, thank you for all your teachings. They kept me alive during the fight with the hero of time's party. I would not have made it out if not for the techniques you taught me. But it's time for me to depart for our good. So this is a farewell for a while. I need to leave right now and we may not meet for a long time. He spoke to the heavenly king of fire in a humble and respectful tone. Understand. It was bound to happen since the day I met you at the border of the Nader Empire just a year ago. I'm content knowing that I could teach you everything in the small time frame we had. As your master, I'm proud of you, and I look forward to seeing what kind of hero you will become. Replied Romulus, the fire elemental Fenrirborn. But you still have a long way to go. Do not slack off in your training or I will hunt you down and skin you alive. He warned Khan. Ah yes, don't worry about that, master. I have been made to realize how much I'm lacking in terms of using the 5 techniques you taught me. I also see that there is a lot to improve if I fight the demon god one day. Even though I wasn't looking forward to it, I guess it's my time to live up to the moniker of the hero of darkness for real. Responded Khan in an obedient tone. Good. The next time I meet you, you better be stronger than me, or I will break every bone in your body, said Romulus. Khan almost chuckled to see the usual response from his sadist master, who forced him to keep on training regardless of the pain he had to endure in the past year. Although he achieved a lot and died more than 1,000,000 times during his training to learn the new techniques as well as unlock the first form of his domain, his responsibility as the hero of darkness would not allow him to slack off, and his role was vital for the future of Vantria in many ways. Thus, he gladly accepted the overwhelming expectations his master, Romulus Lycaeus, had for him. Even the original Khan, aka the Martial Emperor, had great respect for Romulus, who was his only true master in the original timeline. So the current Khan also shared the same amount of respect and appreciation for the Heavenly King of Fire. In the real world, the conversation continued. Looks like your name has been used for cover-up for many despicable things by these lot. Well, our time here is over. We shall decide how to deal with them later, declared the Vampire King. Khan nodded and walked behind Argos. He relayed a personal message to Maximus, who for some reason wasn't surprised to see Khan as the hero of darkness. Thank you, Maximus. With your help, I can leave the Nader Empire without any strings attached or traces left behind, he said. With what you've shown and told me, I felt like it was the right thing to do. Besides, I was paying off a debt on behalf of the god of nature, replied Maximus as he bade farewell to Khan, whom he knew as Atrus Bellator. With this, unlike the original timeline, the story of the Blue Fenrirborn and the Shadow Disciple of the Heavenly King of Fire ended 2 years earlier in the Beast Empire. But this wasn't the only message he received. You're even more remarkable than I thought. Might as well have to take you in as my son-in-law, said Emperor Havi of the Vulcan Empire. Ha! Stop joking, Fireborn Emperor. The war is just about to begin now, responded Khan in a playful tone. The next moment, he received another message from an old friend. This is cheating, Khan. Why are you stronger than me? I just became a 4th stage saint and you're already 2 ranks above me, complained a young woman around the same age as Khan in a playful tone. Well, being a chosen hero has its benefits. It's good to see you doing well, Vanessa. We shall meet next time when things are less chaotic, responded Khan as he greeted his old friend. As he started to leave, Vildred, the Lightning Dragon Emperor, also followed behind from the True Dimension. So this is the new course of our journey, my disciple? Asked the Sage of Preservation. Yes, for now at least. But do not worry, Master. I will fulfill our pact one day, even if I'm entangled in the upcoming war with the Demon Empire, reassured Khan. Master, when should we make a move? Asked Omega among the group representing the Elven Empire and Hero of Life. I will find a way to contact you all when the time is right. We will reunite once I have figured things out as the Hero of Darkness and what my role will be. Till then, carry on as you have been and get strong, because we will be fighting powerful foes very often from now on, instructed Khan to all of his subordinates. Step. Khan folded his arms behind his back and followed after Argos. Wait a minute. There's something I have left to do. He spoke to the Revenant Sovereign. Khan's steps suddenly stopped as he turned around. Boom! Khan's bursting aura suddenly changed and turned completely black and blue, revealing a perfect balance of darkness and cosmic ether, as if they had perfectly merged, and revealed a dark blue dragonfire mixed within his aura. Khan's previously black and red aura now ceased to exist, and the newly formed black and blue aura mixed with dragonfire had become his newly evolved aura, setting a milestone in Khan's own evolution. Dang! As moments passed, even the mighty emperors and empresses felt a threatening aura encompassing their visages, while the heroes and heroines could barely move their bodies. And from Khan's new aura arose a 10-meter-tall mighty figure, materializing above him. Everyone stared with bewilderment at this new dark and grim figure. This wasn't Khan but the silhouette of the martial emperor that hovered above him. This is the aura of a peak 8th stage saint. How is this even possible? This time, all the emperors and heroes, including Khan's own hidden allies, were simply befuddled. This was a power akin to a farewell gift left by the martial emperor to the current Khan, called as Descent of the Martial God. A word of advice. Whether it's a chosen heroes or heroines, the emperors or the empresses, or even the said group that was formed to hunt me since the day I was sent in this world, do not think that you can touch me or attack me just because I have no backing or guidance in this world. He spoke in a grim voice as his eyes revealed a terrifying bloodlust and his overbearing deathly aura of darkness spread around the enemies. From now on, if anyone even looks at me the wrong way, spoke Khan as he made a tyrannical and terrifying declaration at the conclusion of the conclave of heroes. I'll end your entire bloodline. After the earth-shattering events that unfolded during the tumultuous Fourth Conclave of Heroes, the delicate balance of power that had long governed the world stood on the brink of upheaval. The revelation of the Hero of Darkness sent shockwaves throughout the minds of the rulers of major empires, while the unveiling of the Hero of Time as a time regressor, wielding knowledge of the future, added another layer of complexity to the unfolding saga. On top of it, Argos Belmont, the revenant sovereign who was heralded as one of the two strongest saints of this era, declared himself as the new representative of God of Darkness and officially backed Khan in front of all the powerhouses of the empire serving gods and goddesses. His open threat to the emperors and heroes in case anyone tried to harm the Hero of Darkness was etched in their memories because he truly possessed the strength to wipe out their entire empire if he willed to do so. With these many predicaments that affected all of their futures, the conclave of heroes ended, with no certain victor or a loser, while everyone was aware of the fact that the entire timeline of Vantria had been affected. The next day, swoosh, flutter, two figures suddenly appeared in a vast valley, filled with numerous mountains on both sides that spanned 100 kilometers in length and 15 kilometers in width. The lush greenery and enriched wildlife brought a sense of serenity and natural charm to the environment. However, in the middle of this valley, was a ginormous and tall black castle that spanned for 5 kilometers in width and 1 kilometer in height, floated quietly in the cloudy sky. Welcome to my humble abode, the Bran Castle, spoke the Vampire King as he introduced his home to Khan. Hundreds of massive 10-meter-tall humanoid creatures including vampires, gargoyles, bruxes, lamias, and werewolves were guarding the Grand Castle on various fronts, turning it into a war fortress in a sense. Among them, Khan sensed 4 saints that resided in 4 towers on opposite ends. Shing! But the very next moment, Khan's senses went on high alert as his eyes widened. Creak! The massive 50-meter-tall gates of the castle opened, and a small army of black and red armored vampire knights revealed itself. But they were not the ones Khan found alarming, but rather a single individual leading them. A tall and muscular old vampire with long golden hair, beard and gleaming yellow eyes, dressed in white and red suit akin to a butler in aristocratic attire, walked with a confident gaze. As soon as Khan and Argos landed at the front of the gates, the old butler, who seemed to be in his 70s in terms of human years, revealed a gobsmacked expression. "This is my most loyal retainer, Lucian Varangis," revealed Argos as he walked with slow steps. Thud! All the knights knelt on one knee while holding the banner of the Belmont Kingdom. "This vampire is an intermediate 7th stage saint," spoke Khan with an astonished countenance. "But at the same time, my lord, is he who I think he is?" asked the old vampire. "Yes, meet the new Hero of Darkness, Khan Salvatore," spoke Argos as he casually strode off with a steady pace while the other 2 followed behind. Lucian, on the side, was perplexed and slightly elated. He bowed in respect towards Khan. "It is an honor to finally meet you, young lord," he said in a gentle and caring tone. "Likewise," said Khan and extended his right palm to greet the golden-haired vampire. Lucian suddenly stopped with an astonished countenance. "This lowly one is not worthy to shake the young lord's hands," he spoke with a calm voice. On the other hand, Khan was left puzzled. An intermediate 7th stage saint was strong enough to be one of the top 5 strongest beings in any empire. Even the heavenly king of metal, Jero, was an intermediate 7th-stage saint, but he was one of the strongest clan leaders who commanded millions of people in the Beast Empire. Much like his master, Romulus Lycaeus, Lucian was a powerhouse who would earn respect and authority no matter where he went. Yet, for some reason, he was presenting himself as a mere servant in front of Khan while addressing himself as unworthy to even shake his hand. Khan awkwardly pulled back his hand. "My lord, now that you have finally found the young lord, please tell me why I did you to reveal yourself as the backer of the hero of darkness so suddenly?" asked Lucian with a slight resignation visible on his face. "I received an urgent message that compelled me to act hastily since it was related to Khan's safety. That's why I had to hurry up and enter Hesperides on short notice," revealed Argos sternly in a regal tone. "So you know about the altered timeline?" asked Khan. Argos nodded. However, their conversation was interfered by the retainer of the Vampire King. "Ah, so the young lord's life was in danger because someone altered the timeline?" asked Lucian with a bewildered countenance. "Yes, it was the hero of time who returned to the past. I had no choice but to reveal it to everyone present at the Conclave of Heroes. For now, all of the empires and their rulers will have their attention focused on him. The Empire of Time will also be busy dealing with the aftermath," he said calmly. "I also noticed the royal dragon but didn't talk about it until you were comfortable," said the Revenant Sovereign. Swoosh! The very next second, Vildred Mortalix, the Lightning Dragon Emperor, and the Sage of Preservation came out of an invisible barrier. "How much do you know?" asked the Sage Magician. "You, since I attended the conclave." "Him." Suddenly, Argos pointed towards Khan's chest. "Since the time Khan killed the hero of fire in the Vulcan Empire," spoke Argos with a smirk. "Boy, he knows about me too," spoke Rathnar in Khan's mind. "To make a soul oath with the former peak saint of Vantria, I must say that you have impressed me a lot," cited the Vampire King. "I reckon you survived the hero of time and his party's onslaught with his help and guidance?" asked Argos curiously. But instead of Khan, he received the telepathic response from Rathnar himself. "It was all done by the boy. The hero of time came fully prepared and severed our connection using an ancient rank artifact called Warhorn of Confinement. I only regained my connection to him after he was done defeating the hero of time. But if you say that he traveled back in time, that explains how he knew about me," iterated the peak saint. Meanwhile, Lucian felt relieved. He was not even taken aback by suddenly seeing a royal dragon. Rather, his priorities were different. He quickly appeared in front of Khan and grasped both his shoulders. "Thank you. Thank you for staying alive, young lord," he spoke in a jolted and overly elated high-pitched voice. Khan was simply stunned to even react and stood awkwardly as Lucian shook his body back and forth because of his happiness. "Ah, don't worry. He rarely gets this happy, so his response to such news is always extreme. He will open up to you with enough time," spoke Argos with a mischievous smile. "Stare." Lucian intently stared at the Revenant Sovereign with an intense gaze, complaining to his lord for embarrassing him without speaking a word. Argos' gaze shifted sideways as he shifted the topic. "Any word from the battlefield?" he asked. Lucian's expression relaxed as he responded sternly while following towards the main door of the castle. "The Demon Emperor is honoring his word. If the demon god hadn't entered the retreat for his next breakthrough, he would have been fighting on the front himself. And during your visit to the Conclave of Heroes, Sir Sylvester has taken the responsibility to guard the borders," reported the old 7th stage Saint Vampire. "What? Why is that upright bastard suddenly acting on his own?" asked Argos, slightly taken aback. "I believe he feared that the Demon Empire would make another move since all the emperors, empresses, and the summoned heroes were busy with the Conclave of Heroes. And since you two disappeared after commencing the ceasefire with the Demon Emperor." In his words, he was being cautious, stated Lucian as a long line of servants bowed in front of Argos and Khan. Right then, Khan asked with a curious tone, "Who is this Sir Sylvester, to hold the Demon Emperor at bay with his presence?" Argos suddenly stopped his steps and replied in a stoic voice, There are 4 sovereigns in Vantria. 2 of them are beginner 9th stage saints, while the other 2, including me, are intermediate 9th stage saints. Although I'm usually regarded as the strongest among the 2, he is not the one to look down upon, even if it's the Demon Emperor," stated the Revenant Sovereign. "His name is Sylvester Armstrong. The people also call him the Warfare Sovereign," declared Argos, as if advocating his peers' strength and regality. "Oh, he also has a unique class you probably never heard of." "What class?" asked Khan. Argos replied to Khan nonchalantly, "The Deity Summoner." Gasp! Khan was shocked. It was the ancient rank class similar to someone he knew very well. But right then, he remembered something. So the future me knew that he would be crucial for the Great War. Because among the list of people the Martial Emperor aka Original Khan instructed him to meet in this new timeline, the Warfare Sovereign was one of them. Khan, Argos, Vildred, and Lucian entered the castle guarded by 10-meter-tall gargoyles, hellhounds, and 4 saints of vampire species. Khan then asked Argos, "Where are we going now? This castle can't be our final destination, right?" he queried. Argos let out a smile and responded, "To meet the one who informed me that this timeline has changed, thus forcing me to reveal myself as the new representative of the God of Darkness prematurely." "And who is that?" asked Vildred, as he too was fascinated at this point. "I'd rather have you meet him yourself first," replied the Sovereign. "So where does he live?" asked Khan curiously. Argos then looked at Lucian and spoke in a commanding tone. "Steer the course of the castle. We're going to the..." revealed Argos the next immediate destination of Khan's journey, as soon as he was revealed to the world as the hero of darkness. Empire of Space. 1 week later, in a frigid, a breathtaking spectacle unfolded before the eyes of any who beheld it. An unbelievable sight came to be in a cold region with a massive tree made of crystalline ice that was touching the sky with its whooping 3-kilometer-tall height and 1-kilometer radius. Thousands of massive boulders made of permafrost were rotating around this ginormous tree, and the air was filled with snow, casting shimmering reflections in the icy air. The air was chilled to the point where one would get a frostbite just by breathing it. Rumble! Whoosh! Amidst this frozen tableau, a sudden disturbance ruptured the serene landscape. With a deafening rumble and a rushing whoosh, a grandiose black castle materialized into existence, its imposing form dominating the horizon. This 5-kilometer-wide and 1-kilometer-tall black castle appeared just 3 kilometers away. Encircled by a reddish barrier, the fortress hovered ominously in the sky, radiating an aura of formidable strength and power. Without entering the frost zone, the castle that was housing thousands of warriors and 8 saints shook the surroundings with its imposing aura. Finally, the red film of barrier-like formation that surrounded the Bran castle waned on its own, and the gates of this mighty fortress-like castle were opened. Whoosh! "We're here. They should have learned of our arrival now," spoke Argos Belmont, the Vampire King. Khan and Lucian, along with the other 4 saint vampires who served Argos, looked at the unfathomable creation of nature in front of them. "What's up with that tree? It looks like it's made of ice, but why do I feel like something is different about it? Something incomprehensible," said Lucian Varangus, the most loyal retainer of the Revenant Sovereign. "That's no normal ice. I can feel the law from it," said Vildred, the royal dragon in his humanoid form. "What law?" asked the golden-haired vampire. However, it was Khan who replied in a stern voice and a serious expression. "The space law." Not only Lucian but the other vampire saints were also taken aback. It was their first time coming to the Empire of Space, so they had no means to sense or detect the space law. Only Khan, who practiced the space law himself, Vildred, who was one of the most skilled and knowledgeable magicians in the world, and Argos, a sovereign of Vantria, were able to detect it at first glance. "That tree isn't actually a tree, and neither it is made from ice. It's actually a dimensional tower," declared the silver-haired vampire. "Let me guess. It's similar to those cracks in space that lead you somewhere else by creating a direct passage between dimensions and space," said Vildred. "Correct. Although you're a royal dragon, you seem to have explored the outside world beyond the Dragon Empire," spoke Argos. Even at this point, Argos had no idea that Vildred was a sage and the previous dragon emperor. To him, he was just a royal dragon akin to a pilgrim on a sabbatical. Something like that, responded Vildred casually while showing an anticipating expression on his face, trying to study the operational mechanics of this astronomical-sized tree. Right then, Argos spoke with a confident smile. They're here. Crack. The surroundings reverberated as the ginormous tree started cracking like a burning wooden log. And finally, the ginormous tree opened a pathway in the middle while the thousands of those permafrost boulders stopped revolving. A bright bluish hue encompassed everyone's sight as multiple grand spaceship-like figures appeared from the 500-meter-wide pathway opened by the tree. The hell? Who is that? Asked Khan. The one who contacted me, responded Argos with a carefree tone. Rumble. The ships finally stopped and hundreds of tall, armored figures came out at the hangar of the flying ship. But at the same time, they all seemed to guard someone while holding the banners of their empire. Careful, boy. That's an 8th stage saint, informed Rathnar with caution. Don't tell me, that's... spoke Khan, but before he could continue, yes, it's him, said the vampire sovereign. They all landed in the hangar and finally met the host. So you've brought him without wasting time as we agreed, spoke an imposing figure. Before them stood an old man with long brown hair and a white beard, adorning a sokutai while having a katana on his waist. Your F4ite stories on /o/v/lbn.cm. If Argos hadn't told him about this hidden ally beforehand, Khan's first instinct would have been to run away as far as he could. Khan, meet Sakamoto Hideyoshi, the emperor of the Erd Vampire, said Argos as he introduced the 8th stage saint. The emperor, who seemed human by appearance but had a demonic aura to him, looked at Khan with a light smile. Isn't this the confident young man who said he'd end my entire bloodline at the Conclave of Heroes? Khan was stunned but smiled awkwardly in return. Had to do what I had to do. But even you would agree that the message did make an impact, spoke Khan in a respectful tone. That it did. Even our hero was highly motivated by your display of strength and the domineering aura you showed everyone at the end. He has been training intensely ever since we returned from the Conclave, saying that he can't fall behind you if he were to fight the demon god one day, responded the emperor, not holding any grudge against Khan for such an open threat. Admirable. But does he know about this alliance? Asked Khan in a skeptical tone. No, and I'd rather keep it this way. Even my family or my loyal daimyos don't know about this. The less people know about this coalition for now, the better, iterated the emperor. Khan nodded. Let's go. This place is one of the imperial family's secret space terminals that no one even in the imperial court knows about. It will lead us directly to the sacred resting place of my family, said the emperor and turned back. Wait, why are we going to his family's ancestral tombs? Asked Khan to Argos. Didn't I say? He's the one who contacted me. But now we are following him to meet the one who informed me about the change in the timeline, revealed the Vampire King and quietly followed behind the ruler of the Empire of Space. Sakamoto Hideyoshi. That's a Japanese name. And if my guess is correct, they too use the surname first and name later, just like Japan and a few other Asian countries on Earth. Do they have some connection? Wondered Khan. The Bran Castle was left behind as Argos and his entourage boarded the ship. Soon, the flock of flying ships turned around and entered through the pathway steadily. You practice the space law, right? Asked Hideyoshi. Yes, the Third Enlightenment, responded Khan. Can't help but say that I'm jealous of your talent. I'm only a fire elemental swordsman. Even among my children, no one has even achieved the Second Enlightenment. Even our hero of space has been struggling to get past the Second Enlightenment, revealed the emperor casually, divulging secret information so easily for some reason. Well, he'll get there someday, spoke Khan. Obviously, he couldn't tell the emperor that he achieved that Third Enlightenment with the help of a literal linchpin of the multiverse within the Chamber of Exaltation that was inside the Tablet of Arcana, one of the 6 creations left by demigods. It wasn't that he wasn't exceptional. just that he had the best help in the world to achieve the third enlightenment. Soon, the surroundings of these flying ships were covered in a bluish barrier, shaped like beehives while completely encircling them. Entering the hyperspace, announced the pilot of the ship. Swoosh, shing. As if turning into a ray of light, all the ships suddenly flew at hyperspeed. This is just like the hyperdrive from those Star Wars movies. The Empire of Space can use something like that? Wondered Khan, completely gobsmacked. It had barely been 3 minutes and the captain of the ship made another announcement. Reaching destination in 3, 2, 1. Rumble. As if space itself was torn, a void crack appeared in a vast mountain valley and the entourage of the flying ships came out of them. A mountain filled with lush greenery and bamboo shoots. This mountain was filled with natural waterfalls and rich wildlife. At the peak of the mountain, surrounded by breathtaking natural beauty, stood the imposing Dobiai Castle. Its grandeur and size were unparalleled, stretching for a kilometer and featuring multiple layers of intricate architecture. The castle's walls boasted a pristine white and golden color, shimmering under the sunlight and commanding attention from afar. It was a fortress that symbolized strength and protection, capable of accommodating a vast number of warriors during times of conflict. As one approached the castle, they would notice the meticulous carvings and designs adorning its structure. These engravings depicted monsters, deities, and divine beings that were unfamiliar to the inhabitants of Vantria, giving an air of mystery and enchantment to the fortress. Guarding the castle were hundreds of warriors, armed with spears and swords, positioned strategically throughout the fortress. Among them, 2 formidable third-stage saints stood out, their presence exuding power and authority. The warriors hailed from various backgrounds, with only a third of them being humans. The rest displayed distinct characteristics reminiscent of demons, showcasing a diverse array of skin colors, shapes, and sizes. "So this is the Erd vampire that serves the god of space, Rom?" asked Khan. Obviously, he noticed the architecture from Earth because of his past as a fan of the Japanese culture as Elric. But all he could do was ask himself at this moment, who the hell created this empire? The very next moment, the one you're here to meet, my great ancestor. He was also Sakamoto Hideyoshi, the emperor of the Erd vampire, ended his curiosity as he declared, the 6th hero of space. After the emperor of the space empire revealed the identity of his ancestor, Khan was shaken and also perplexed after learning that the person he was going to meet was a former hero. Wait, aren't all heroes and heroines of previous generations dead? He wondered. I know what you're thinking, just follow behind, said Sakamoto Hideyoshi and walked into a beautiful palace. This looks a lot like the Imperial Palace in Japan. I feel like I'm in the Sengoku era, thought Khan to himself. Soon, they entered the top floor of this palace where someone was already waiting for them. In front of the emperor shone a divine white light and revealed the condensed stature of a powerful being. A 5-meter-tall and imposing white-haired elderly man awaited. The grand persona glowing in white light through its body was dressed in a regal blue and black kamishimo was seated on a tatami mat, his 2 katanas strapped to his waist. The air carried an air of reverence as the emperor displayed the utmost sense of respect for this being. It was a similar scenario when Khan first met Rathnar in the Rocco's Empire, since the ancient being in front of the emperor was also a remnant soul. Paying respect to Sozen no Tenno, spoke the emperor as he knelt on both his feet, revealing his vehement expression. Khan made a 90-degree bow as per the tradition he knew. However, Argos and Vildred didn't even bother greeting. Khan could tell that this ancestor was a remnant soul just like Rathnar. However, this apparition was a complete soul and not a half-soul like the latter. Khan looked at the emperor and then the ancestor. Thank you for inviting us. But may I ask, why are we here? And why are we friends now? I bet you were keen on finding and killing me for the divine key just like everyone else before the conclave of heroes. Spoke Khan abruptly, and his tone carried a sense of caution as well as misgivings. The emperor's expression went stiff, but he regained his composed demeanor soon. Why this alliance all of a sudden just because the hero of time came back in the past? Questioned Khan again. The emperor questioned in a stern tone. You don't shy away from tough topics, do you? Well, if I'm to trust an enemy, I need direct and valid reasons, replied Khan. Argos and Vildred only maintained a stern countenance as if they too shared the same sentiment. Well, it's because although the appeal of your divine key to gain 2 more apples of Eden is lucrative, in the end, we follow our gods will above our greed for power and authority. Besides, the Empire's serving gods have been fighting a shadow war among themselves for far too long now. There might not even be a world left after 8 years as per our gods' estimation. So what good would having a peak saint in our ranks do? Responded Hideyoshi. Khan nodded, and so did Vildred and Argos. This alliance wasn't out of goodwill or benevolence but due to their need for survival. And now that the god of space himself had intervened in this matter, the Emperor had no reason to target Khan, the hero of darkness. For someone like him, the survival of his people and the Empire was far more important than just gaining a powerhouse at this point. Thus, one of the empires that was previously hunting Khan was now his ally. "What about your warrior in that group?" asked Khan. But right then it was Argos who responded. "It was he who contacted me when I was leading the war at the border of the Demon Empire," revealed the Vampire King. "Yes, he too is of the same opinion. Since we couldn't leave as the conclave was close and couldn't risk anyone attacking us when we were not looking, it was he who delivered the message," revealed Sakamoto Hideyoshi. "Then does that mean we also have a spy in the group that's to hunt me?" asked Khan. Hideyoshi nodded in affirmation. "What are they called anyway?" asked Khan. "Given the nature of their task, they gained the name Inquisitors," said the Emperor. "Do know that they will still come for you one day. Their whole operation method is very free from the laws of the empires. Even our warrior agreed to let go of his grudge only because our god's decree demanded so. The rest still have very good motivation to hunt and kill you," responded the Emperor. "All that because of my predecessor?" asked Khan. "You can't blame them. It's the only way for most of them to move on in their life. The path of vengeance wasn't chosen by them. It found them. And all of them do not care about the politics of the Empire but rather to offer peace to their loved ones and their old comrades," explained the Emperor. "I see. So that's why you have chosen to hide our allegiance even from your family," said Khan. The Emperor nodded. Not everyone can be understanding of the situation and let go of their hatred just because the world is about to end. Not everyone sees the bigger picture, nor do they care about the fate of the world when their own revenge is clouding their mind," said the Emperor in a benign tone. Khan nodded in understanding. That was also part of human nature. Not everyone was a great leader or a ruler who always saw the bigger picture or could let go of their grievances just because more important things were at stake. Even on Earth, it was a very common sentiment among the masses because not everyone was a weak law-abiding citizen who feared taking the life of someone who killed their loved ones or a family member. Forget others, even Khan wasn't a forgiving saint like that, so it was understandable to him. "Now that we have done discussing, let me and the boy talk in private," spoke the ancestor. "And that goes for you too, Sir Rathnar Whitlock," said the Soul Spectre. "TCH. I thought I did a good job in hiding myself," spoke the Peak Saint in a discontent tone. "That you did. But we are very alike at the present moment. Also, it's only your half-soul. The soul essence you have is not enough to hide you from me," spoke the ancestor. "Fine, I'll be away," said Rathnar and cut himself off from Khan. Everyone else also left the room. Xing. The Soul Spectre created a subspace that was different from the real world and true dimension. Khan was simply astonished, because it was neither an illusion, a domain, or some magic formation. It was a completely man-made dimension. "Now then, child, there's a reason why I called for you after receiving our God's decree," spoke the ancestor. "You have achieved the third enlightenment in the space law, yes?" Khan nodded. "Then among all the heroes, including the current hero of space, you're the most suitable candidate," proclaimed the ancestor. "Candidate for what?" asked Khan, puzzled. "The truth is, I'm the only hero of space who achieved the highest degree of control in the space law before my death among those who came before and after me. And our God, Rom was very impressed with my achievement, said the ancestor. In my generation of summoned heroes, I was also the strongest and killed the demon god, declared the ancestor. Khan was simply stunned to speak. To hear that the old man in front of him had actually succeeded in killing the demon god in his era. Unfortunately, even I didn't know the perfect way to kill him permanently. So the god of space commanded me to leave my consciousness behind as a remnant soul close to 600 years ago when I was at my prime as a peak 8th stage saint. To train a future hero of space who met the conditions such as achieving at least a third enlightenment in the space law. Sadly, I have not found my successor in that regard even now, iterated the ancestor. Our current hero of space is a young man who values honor, ethics, and morality. He also has a strong sense of justice and companionship. Unfortunately, his mastery over the space law is not as adept as yours. And that is why our God ordered me to teach you, explained the ancestor. Teach me what? Asked Khan. How to achieve the fourth enlightenment in the space law. Khan was shocked. Besides, I want to hear what happened in our world, spoke the old ancestor. What do you mean by our? Asked Khan, partially anticipating the answer. I too am from the earth, just like you. Khan kind of half expected this revelation at this point. So without wasting time, he asked, this type of architecture, the culture, some of the species I have seen, and even the way names and customs people seem to follow here. Just who are you? Asked Khan to the old ancestor with 2 katanas on his waist. Ah, I guess I should tell you the names people used to call me by, spoke the ancestor. Some called me the Sword Saint, some called me the Dual Swordsman, while others called me Dual-Wielding Samurai. But you can call me, spoke the old ancestor with a tranquil expression. The very next moment, the floor beneath Khan's feet shook as he was shocked to his core when the old ancestor, the 6th hero of space, revealed his true name, Miyamoto Musashi. Khan was completely gobsmacked. His mind left in disbelief after learning that the 6th hero of space who was from Earth just like him was none other than the legendary Miyamoto Musashi. For the second time in his new life, Khan had met someone who was from Earth just like him. In total, it was the 3rd person from Earth that he had come to know of after Björn Ragnarsson, the 4th hero of life, then Marcus Brutus, the 7th hero of nature, and now Miyamoto Musashi, the 6th hero of space. Including Khan, the 9th hero of darkness. That's a total of 4 individuals who were summoned from Earth to Vantria. Who knew if there were more in the past or whether someone else was also summoned from Earth in the current era just like him. And to top it off, the old ancestor was a historical figure he had learned and read about back in the day. Before him sat Miyamoto Musashi, the very man who was hailed as the greatest samurai to ever live. The man who fought in life and death duels since he was 13. Invented the Nitten Ichiryu, aka the dual samurai swordsmanship style, which translated to 2 swords as one. Not only was this man the greatest samurai, but he was also one of the great philosophers of the 17th century, even though he hailed from a life of warfare and politics. His glory and achievements as well as wisdom were so superior that even in the modern times when Elric was alive on Earth, millions of people held this man in high regard. Do you perhaps know who I was before my death? Asked the 6th hero of space. Khan made a 90-degree bow and told him about everything he knew of the man and how even the current era perceived the name Miyamoto Musashi. I see. So I did leave behind a legacy. And what happened to our land of the sun? Asked the 6th hero with a curious gaze. Well, after the Edo era ended, spoke Khan and continued all the things that he was aware of related to the wars, political changes, and development as a country. Khan did not hesitate to hide what Imperial Japan did to other countries in the name of territorial expansion, their role in the world wars, and how now it was famous for animes, mangas, cuisine, culture, and, I see. My homeland has always been a place of war even before I was born and even when I held a lot of power. The peace they have now, I hope it lasts for a long time. Thank you for telling me. Spoke Musashi as he gently caressed his long white beard. Soon they started discussing their arrangement. Khan asked curiously, why me though? You could have helped your hero of space to achieve the 3rd enlightenment yourself. To those words, the old ancestor of the Erd Vampire replied in a benign tone, The matter with enlightenment is that it cannot be taught, learned, or imparted to anyone. One can guide another's way on the path of enlightenment, but if the person walking does not understand the goal and the meaning behind that journey itself, not even the greatest teachers can help one achieve it. The hero of space has shown his limits already regarding the space law, and even if I were to directly tell him everything, his mindset, his body, and his senses would simply reject the powers that come with the enlightenment itself instead of embodying it. Stated the samurai saint. It's like expecting a fish to fly like an eagle or a newborn to fight an army of soldiers. He iterated. I see. Some things just can't be forced, can they? Said Kon in contemplation. Miyamoto Musashi nodded in affirmation. How many enlightenments did you achieve in your time? Asked Kon skeptically. I achieved only 4th enlightenment before I died due to old age, replied the old ancestor. Wait, you were at least an 8th stage saint to become the emperor, right? Queried Kon. Yes, a peak 8th stage saint. And how many years did you live? After being brought to Vantria as a chosen hero, I lived for more than 340 years. But Kon asked another question. Shouldn't you have lived for more than 500 years even if you were a human at that rank? He queried. Yes, however, just because your rank as a saint is higher, doesn't mean that you will keep on living longer. There are many factors. Dying in battle is just one of them. Replied the Soul Spectre. You must have noticed how big of a difference bloodlines, species, and elemental affinities make in this world, right? Kon lightly nodded. By that logic, we humans are at the bottom compared to other species and even monsters of the same rank. Many live far longer, but even there, some will live shorter. Spoke the samurai saint. How? And why? Asked Kon. Because many rely on their bloodlines to raise their strength and have physical advantages because of it compared to humans. But at a certain stage, the over-reliance on it causes their downfall. The boon becomes the bane. Stated the old ancestor in a tone full of wisdom and experience. Before Kon could ask another question, the old ancestor made a stop gesture with his palm and continued, There are plenty of 7th or 8th stage saints in the world who achieve their rank within a couple of centuries but barely have 100 years to live after gaining that almighty power. Take demihumans for example, such as tigerkins, lionkins, elves, and even demonkins, said the sword saint with a stern countenance. After a point, they stagnate at a certain rank and their life force starts dwindling rapidly, leaving them barely with a few decades to live just because they used their bloodlines and species-related abilities to become strong. In a way, they used it as an irreplaceable fuel to create a foundation akin to a machine factory. But one day, that fuel is finished and then that factory becomes completely useless, becoming nothing but an empty shell. And soon, it starts crumbling from within. Explained the old ancestor who had spent more time in Vantria than Kon. Kon understood the logic. That's why he had seen people like the Fireborn Emperor, heavy host Siegfried, who lived for close to 60 years but was already an 8th stage saint, while even his master Romulus, whose age was more than 300 years, was still a peak 7th stage saint. And what factors caused your death then? Because you didn't even have that advantage or some bloodline to cause any complications. You even killed the demon god once with only 4th enlightenment in space law. Queried Kon with a calm demeanor. Just like it happened once. The emperor replied in a stern but calm tone. I died because of cancer. Kon was stupefied after listening to the reason why Miyamoto Musashi, the 6th hero of space, died despite being strong enough to even kill the demon god once in his era. It was an astonishing revelation to find that even saints were not immune to cancer. Isn't that similar to how you died on Earth? Asked Kon. Yes. God of Space rejuvenated my body to a certain degree after he sent me here, and I was close to 35 years old as the hero of space. But the cancer from the original body remained. However, becoming a saint only halted my cancer for close to 200 years, and as a peak 8th stage saint, my body didn't suffer too much until it inevitably got me. Revealed the sword saint. Understood. Everything you said explained a lot of my questions. Responded Kon respectfully. So now that I'm the only capable hero with 3rd enlightenment in space law, and might have a chance to kill the demon god if I achieve the 4th enlightenment, Khan took a pause and a sudden grin appeared on his face. What's in it for me? The entire hall's atmosphere suddenly froze as soon as Khan made that question. What? Even the once greatest samurai was taken aback and could not believe his ears. I'm allowing you to gain a power that can make you one of the strongest heroes and even help kill the demon god. And yet, you want more? Asked Miyamoto Musashi with a contorted countenance, greatly displeased. Yeah, what you're offering me is indeed very lucrative, but it's not like I can't achieve it on my own. Also, it's your side that's in a hurry and not me. Spoke Khan with a smug smile. Although there was a reason that the old ancestor asked for him under God of Space's instructions. It didn't mean he simply had to comply without any conditions of his own or gain any benefit along the way. The man called Consalvatore would never let go of an opportunity to gain something for himself or make a profit regardless of how fate forced him into difficult situations. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask for something ludicrous like your family's heirlooms or ask the princess hand in marriage. Now that I've met one of the greatest samurai on earth, I just want to make sure that I also make a gain that could be beneficial for me in the long run. Spoke Khan shamelessly. Khan made this abrupt demand knowing that the old ancestor aka the sixth hero of space was also constrained in many ways because he was following the decree of his god. On the other side, Sakamoto Hideyoshi, the emperor of the Erd Empire, was now an accomplice in the crime of aiding and abetting the wanted criminal called Hero of Darkness. So he used this information to squeeze out the most from this supposed friendship. Even the samurai saint understood this part because of his centuries of experience. The man before him wasn't just some warrior or a chosen hero. He was also a greedy and conniving businessman. Fine. What do you want? Is it money, women, or resources? Asked the old ancestor with an incredulous tone. Khan on the other side let out a shameless grin as he replied, something far more valuable. After some time, Miyamoto Musashi dispersed the separate dimension they were conversing in and let Khan return to the real world. Khan had just made a secret deal with the greatest samurai from Earth and was content. The samurai saint on the other end had an indignant expression on his face. A minute later, the three saints waiting outside arrived, their faces filled with anticipation. The arrangements have been made. The Hero of Darkness will stay here for some time until he achieves the fourth enlightenment in the space law. Spoke the ancestor in his ethereal soul form. Sakamoto Hideyoshi and Argos Belmont nodded in unison, as if they too wished for it to happen, although their respective reasons were different. By the way, why is there a royal dragon here? Queried Miyamoto Musashi in his spectral form. I'm exploring as part of our customs, replied Vildred. Because of the contract of familiarity, Vildred was also a sixth-stage saint just like Khan, and added the fact that he was a royal dragon. In everyone's eyes, he was as strong as an eighth-stage saint. Right when the war with the demon god is imminent? Asked the emperor. I know that a royal dragon does leave the Dragon Empire while hiding their presence at least once in their lifetime, but to see one in front of me, said the sword saint. Vildred then asked out of curiosity, have you met others of my kind? I have. Fought one, to be honest. Though the battle ended in a draw, it was a good learning experience, said the sword saint proudly. To fight and live through against a royal dragon. Well, it was expected from a hero, spoke Vildred. Oh my, and here I am. Killed one and made their emperor chase after me. Despite days of pursuit, I still left unscratched. Spoke Rathnar in Vildred's mind, boasting shamelessly. And all Vildred could do was hide his anger and clench his scepter tightly. Then, the revenant sovereign spoke in a calm voice. You're giving the heroes too much credit. Many can barely make it out alive in front of a royal dragon. Alas, looks like you and the Hero of Darkness are bound together, he revealed in front of everyone. However, Vildred wasn't startled and didn't feel like hiding. All these people present in this hall were some of the top powerhouses of the world, so obviously they'd notice. Yes, until he becomes a peak 8th stage saint, that is. After that, our contract ends. He spoke calmly. Hideyoshi and Argos were curious but avoided prying into the matter, as it was a very personal and private thing between two beings. Hopefully that day comes soon. By our god's estimation, we barely have 7 to 8 years left until the demon god achieves the demigod rank. Even now, we are barely competing against the demon emperor who is just his servant. Spoke the ancestor. Khan, who was slightly taken aback, asked, "So is the demon emperor akin to demon god's apostle or something?" "A bit similar in that context, but he's more like a disciple than an apostle," responded the emperor of the Empire of Space. Argos then iterated, "From what we know, he was from the bottom of the food chain in the demon community and rose in strength after facing hundreds of trials and tribulations. One could say he is similar to you who was being hunted by the world. So in a sense, he is a protagonist of his own story," said Khan with a contemplative countenance. "What now?" asked Khan as he glanced at Argos. "Since this is more important, I will leave you here. There's a place where both of us have to go. It'd be greatly helpful if you attained the fourth enlightenment in space law and rose your strength as well. Because even I cannot guarantee that we will return unscathed," responded the Vampire King. Khan nodded in return. He too understood that his said benefactor had to take care of a lot of troubles because he declared himself as the new representative of the God of Darkness and the backer of Hero of Darkness. Everyone had their part to play in this twisted web of destiny. As for Khan, he had a few matters to deal with first. "I will need a month's break before we actually begin the training," spoke Khan to the emperor. "Why?" asked Sakamoto Hideyoshi with a confused expression. Khan sighed and responded with his eyes turning full of determination. "I have to forge a katana." 2 days later, within a sprawling empire, unrest stirred within the walls of a magnificent golden castle crowned by a towering spire that seemed to reach the heavens. This majestic structure was none other than the grand cathedral of the Church of Vremya, dedicated to the worship of the god of time, nestled in the heart of the capital city of the Amzur Empire. High atop the central tower, a chamber unlike any other lay concealed from view. Within its confines, a remarkable display of modern technology intertwined with ancient mysticism captivated the senses. Blue-hued energy pulsed through the air, casting an ethereal glow upon the chamber's surroundings, while its very essence seemed to hum with power. It was within this chamber, resembling a prison of arcane design, appeared a man familiar to Khan. Anakin Redfield, known as the Hero of Time and the pivotal figure in the altered timeline that compelled the Martial Emperor, also known as the Future Khan, to journey back to the past to prevent his own demise, lay suspended within the chamber. His once proud form now hung limp, ensnared by dozens of golden ethereal chains that pierced his flesh. Each chain bore the weight of his broken body, anchoring him to the walls of the chamber with merciless tenacity. The metallic links embedded themselves deep within his skin, their cruel embrace inflicting untold agony upon the Hero of Time. Though his physical form lay in a state of torpor, his mind remained alert, a beacon of consciousness amidst the darkness that threatened to consume him. The Hero of Time, destined to become a powerful saint and even live as chosen hero during the late stages of the Great War against the demon god, had his entire destiny changed in the new timeline. Kill, life, love, revenge, betrayal, power, domination. At the same time, multiple specter-like versions of Anakin akin to his soul form tried to leave this chained vessel and were speaking cryptic and inconceivable words. To anyone listening, these incessant rants and uncinched words would sound nothing more than gibberish. Yet, there were dozens of robed researchers writing manuscripts, recording his every word and trying to make sense of it. Among them was the Pope of the Church itself. For some reason, every single person in this facility was clothed head to toe and didn't reveal any physical or facial feature other than their doe-like eyes. The rank of the Pope was an intermediate 7th stage saint and exuded a green aura around his visage. Swoosh! Flutter! Suddenly, another powerful entity appeared in this hall, dressed more regally but fully clothed just like everyone else nonetheless. "You have arrived, Your Majesty," spoke the Pope. "Yes, my arrival was delayed since things have been hectic," spoke the Emperor in a deep and tired voice. "Ever since the conclave, there have been many incidents on the borders of the Empire. We are facing small troops from 7 empires altogether, attacking our borders in coalition. Most of our saints are stationed in all outer provinces, and even the capital is filled with melancholic atmosphere because of constant fear among the masses about a possible invasion. He iterated in a grim tone. No matter how hard we try, we are unable to retaliate. For the first time in the history of our empire, we are unable to counterattack or retaliate against our aggressors because of their sheer numbers. Close to 6 million soldiers have already died. And even the nobles are showing signs of insurgency. He revealed with an incredulous tone. All of that bloodshed and chaos because of this bastard, said the emperor with his tone filled with fury. The Pope didn't utter a single word because the same troubles were endured by him, albeit under different circumstances. What's his situation? Asked the emperor. He has completely lost all his senses. We even tried torturing him. But his body reacts while his mind doesn't even register that he is being tortured. If we try to kill him, he probably won't even understand that his life is in danger. It's like his mind and body are completely disassociated from each other, declared the Pope in a helpless voice. What we are speaking in front of him, his brain is registering it so arbitrarily that he might react to our words many days later. Whatever that's happened to him during the conclave of heroes, it's beyond our understanding. He iterated with a displeased tone. Thank goodness that he at least had the apple of Eden in his space ring, said the emperor. But right then, the emperor, I will kill that bastard for backstabbing me. I gave them everything, but all I received is betrayal from the imperial family and even my teammates, shouted Anakin while looking upward as if declaring his oath of vengeance to the skies above. What is he talking about? We haven't done anything to him, and neither have I betrayed him in any sense, said the emperor, slightly confused. Shing! The very next second, a 4-panel device placed in front of the Pope turned red. Your Majesty, I believe he is speaking about some future or timeline that we are unaware of. This device left by our ancestors turns red whenever he talks about future events or something that doesn't belong in this timeline, explained the Pope. So there's a chance that we betrayed him in the future? Asked the emperor. No, more likely you and the imperial family have already betrayed him in the future, said the Pope, his tone filled with certainty as indicated by the device. What about War Horn of Confinement? Asked the emperor in a tone full of concern. I apologize, Your Majesty, but he doesn't have the ancient rank artifact, responded the Pope. This bastard. He knew about our ancestral heirloom that helped us in hundreds of battles and even subdued many uprisings in the empire. He stole the ancient rank artifact and took it to the conclave of heroes without any of us even finding out up until now, said the emperor in a furious tone. I believe he either lost it or the hero of darkness has it, spoke the Pope indignantly. The emperor was distraught after hearing those words. We can't confirm anything. The hero of darkness killed all of his party members and must have done something, said the emperor. About that, I want to show you something, said the Pope, and the next moment, the device turned upside down. But soon, an unexpected marvel of glyphs spread in the air. We found traces of some unknown magic. Thousands of these incomprehensible runes in an unknown knowledge appear and disappear, as if it's a combination of a spell, a curse, a formation, and runic magic. What's this? Asked the emperor, taken aback. We have no idea. However, some of the symbols do match one of the most ancient languages in the world, declared the Pope. Which one? The dragon magic, said the Pope with an irritated tone. What? Even the emperor was baffled after hearing this information. Yes, but given the complexity of this spell that keeps forever changing and also evolves itself every second so that no one can break the spell placed on the hero of time, we believe that only an elder dragon can cast it, declared the Pope, firm in his hypothesis. Impossible! The Dragon Empire has never been involved in the matters of gods and heroes. It's pretentious to even assume so, retorted the emperor, his eyes full of disbelief. There must be a way for us to break this spell and make him talk about the events of the future. Otherwise, all those empires will attack us to get him, and we won't have anything to bargain our sovereignty for," said the emperor, completely enraged but helpless at the same time. "Sadly, there is no way to make him talk. The only way this spell breaks," spoke the Pope akin to that of a defeated man, "is his death."